Yes. Okay. So we are gonna talk about DNF command. Okay, DNF and yum command both are the command we use to install the packages, but there are some differences between these two commands. Okay, if you check the online site, they tell you that DNF command created in 2003, it's created DNF, sorry, yum command is created in 2003, DNF created in 2013. Then we use Python to create the yum command. Then they use both combination like C++, Python. Okay, and they use the library called libsol. Okay, so to increase the performance of the DNF command, they use libsol library. Okay, that's some differences between these two commands. Okay, so let's move to the practical part. Okay, if you use yum command, if you check the help of yum command, you can see there are lots of options. You can install the software, you can clean. Okay, or you can also upgrade the software if you want to update. Okay, how to set up. Okay, that's also we need to discuss today, how to set up the yum repository. Okay, we are going to discuss. Okay, Sumit, we are going to discuss about yum repository, how to set up yum repository. Okay, so if you know, we can use to install this command to any packages like yum install. We have dialog on software DILOG. Okay, see, now here you can see the output. I am using Red Hat Linux, that's why it's showing me Red Hat Suppression Management Repository unable to read customer identity. Okay, if you use other CentOS Linux or other Fedora, they will not show you this warning because I am using Red Hat. So Red Hat provide their subscription. Okay, if you check the Red Hat subscription, what we can do, we can log in with our subscription, and Red Hat provide us the libraries, means sorry, repositories. Okay, you can use those repositories to install the softwares. Okay, just like we, if you know, here I'm thinking, no, if you know about in Red Hat, we have /etc/yum.repos.d folder. Okay, in this folder we have all the repositories file. If you check here, I set up Docker repository, then I have Apple release. These are the three repository for Apple. Then I set up my own repository using local files. Okay, just like if you know, Red Hat provide their own repository. So for that we have to do the subscription. Okay, and if you want to log in, anyone have a subscription for Red Hat. So if you want to log in, then you have subscription manager command. Okay, in subscription manager command, what you can do, you can do register, then hyphen username, enter your Red Hat username. Okay, and then hyphen password, then enter your Red Hat password, Red Hat account, RHL account, RHL ID. Here you can put your RHL ID, then hyphen password, then put your password and press enter. So what it will do, it will take some time like 1 or 2 minutes. Then it will automatically connect to the your subscription, whichever subscription you purchase. And if you check in graphical also, here you can see, you see when you log in, you always see the notification like here in the notification comes subscription manager not registered. Okay, so in setting you can also go from graphical, you can also go in this setting, then in down here you can see we have subscription. So here you can put the, we have two types of we can log in with two types. We have activation key also, they just work like tokens. Okay, or we can log in with login ID password. And if you use graphical, then you need to also put the organization. But if you log in with CLI, then they don't ask about much things. Okay, in subscription manager you can also check the help. You will see lots of options: clean, import, repos, list all the repos which are system initiated. Okay, then you can register. If you want to log out, then you have subscription manager unregister command. Okay, so this is subscription manager command if you, anyone want to log in with your Red Hat account subscription. Okay, now move to the DNF. Okay, or yum. So both are the same command. You can use both command. You can use yum install dialog also. You can use dnf install and the package name. Okay, but we are not talking about how to install the packages. Okay, in this system I have from till the time I install this operating system, if you want to check the history how much software I install, okay, how much software I remove using yum or dnf command, then you have yum history command or you can use dnf history command. Okay, dnf history command, it will show you all the details about. And if you check here in dnf history command, we have also uh, this all field lines are known as transactions. Okay, this is my first transaction, second transaction, third transaction. Okay, and these are transaction ids. Okay, transaction id 24, 23. Okay, and if you check, I use command install tlog. Okay, and what time I install, which date, which time, what action I do, I install the software. Okay, then we alternate. What is field, what is mean by this field, how much packages affected by this when I install this tlog software, how much other packages are affected. Means the like uh, tlog command have dependency or some kernel modules. Okay, so tlog command behind the scene installs a kernel module or any packages, or tlog command need one, if you know, like tlog command needs flash version 2, but I am using flash version 1.5. So tlog command will automatically update the flash version, like dependency. Tlog command don't do update, yum command behind the scene do. Okay, yum or dnf command. Okay, so here you can see how much alternate, how much packages are affected. Okay, and here you can see there is also a symbol we use to, like 30 packages affected. Okay, this is the symbol we use to, like 30 packages affected. Okay, but there are some packages we need to downgrade. Means just like I am using plus 2 version, but GOC view don't need flash 2 version, they need flash 1.5. Okay, so they show you in this way, like you can check the meaning of this symbol on Google, what is this mean. Okay, so here you can see, but there is also one more field they are not showing here. Okay, if you check again, if I check dnf history command again, you can see there is one more field, there is no command written, but you can see how much packages are affected, 1249. So these are the first transaction id which run when we install the operating system. Okay, so operating system behind this behind means in background they run they use dnf command to install other packages. So here you can see they will also show you the history, how much packet it affected, what, just check the meaning of what is e, what is greater than e, what is greater than, less than, check the meaning of this. Okay, how much what is altered, how much package is affected. Okay, then in dnf history command, if you want to check the history of particular transaction id, okay, like I install tlog software, so if you want to check the information of particular transaction id, then we use dnf history info and then transaction id. So it will show you the more details about this transaction id, like beginning time, beginning rpm database. Okay, in time, in rpm database, user, which user run this command, what is the output, they install successfully or they fail. Okay, which command we use, and comments, if we pass the comment, we can also pass the comments when installing the software. If we comment, then you can see the comments here. Okay, and the package for installing tlog command, which package they use. So they install these packages, and from which repository, AppStream. Okay, if you know we have multiple repository, if you want to list the all repository, then we use dnf repo list command. Sorry, we use dnf repo list. It will show you the all enable repository only, the repository which I am using to install the operating system, only enabled. But you want to see the disabled repository also, so you can use repo list all option. So it will show you the AppStream is enabled now, BaseOS is enabled now. Then we have Docker Community Edition nightly it disable. Then we have Docker C stable is enabled and some Apple release. Okay. Then if you check in DNF history command, in DNF history command, like I install this package yum install tlog. But now I don't want to install this package. Okay, I want what dependencies this plog command installed. I want to come back to my previous version, like rollback or undo. Okay, so in dnf command we have two commands. We have undo command and we have rollout command. Sorry, rollout or rollback command. Roll. Let me check the help. Dnf hyphen help. Okay, in this command we have dnf repo let repo query, repo install, clean, auto remove history. Let me check the manual. dnf available commands. We can downgrade if you want to change the version of any software. They are using the latest version, but if you want to use like I'm using the flash version 2, but I want to downgrade, I don't want to install, I want to downgrade to the flash version 1.5. So you can use downgrade command. If you want to upgrade, then you can use yum upgrade command. Okay, then we can, where is the role upgrade additional information? Let me try with myself. DNF rollback option. Okay, so it's dnf install. Let me try dnf install. Let me try this command. I think I did some practical on this system last night, so they install my rollback. Okay, let me check. एक में आपके लैपटॉप में हेल्प चेक करके बताना दिखा रहा है क्या? Can you show the file? Yes, Sumit, we are gonna create the file. Okay, from starting. DNF history. Okay, okay, okay. The rollback command is in a DNF history command. Sorry. Okay, so what we can do? DNF history. If we check the help of DNF history command, okay, then you can able to see the rollback option. Okay, here we can see in DNF history command we can do rollback. Where it is rollback. Okay, let me type by myself. If you want to roll back to a particular version like dnf history, what I want to roll back to the this version where I install stress software. Okay, so what you can do, dnf history roll back, then transaction id 90. So it will check. Now you can see I install which software. After that I install tlog. So you can see they are removing the tlog. Okay, but there is some difference between, we have undo command also. We can use, also use undo command. Undo. Okay, now if we check, they are which software they are removing? Stress. Rollback. What the rollback command will do? Rollback also delete the software that we install after this transaction. So they will also delete the T-log, they will also delete the TypeScript. Okay, but undo command, what they do? They only install the stress software. Okay, so if you use rollback command, you can check what is the difference between rollback and undo in DNF. Okay, so undo command reduces all the most recent software transactions, reduces all the installation done after a specific transaction. Means if you check DNF history, okay, so if I use rollback on transaction ID 18, so what it will do? It will install all the other software also. Okay, but if I use undo, then only it will only install the nmap. Okay, that's the difference between undo and rollback. Okay, and if we in DNF, if you check, okay, I think you understand about history now. Okay, anyone have any doubt in history command, DNF history command for online? Is there any way to install the package and parallelly remove its configuration file? Uh, Archit, when you install the package, it will automatically remove the configuration file. If I check in my cd/etc, let me show you a demo. Okay, cd/etc, we have httpd folder. Okay, if I check httpd ls, just 1 minute, guys. Okay, if you can check, I am in etc httpd folder. It stored the configuration file of web server software named httpd, or also known as Apache web server. So if I use DNF remove httpd, so you can see they are also removing the dependencies like httpd core, httpd file system. If I remove this software, okay, so if you check /etc httpd, there is no httpd file. They will also, when you install the software, they also remove the configuration file also. Okay, but if you change the directory, like in if I install DNF, install httpd, if you change the directory of configuration file in httpd, you know, you can change the configuration file directory. Okay, let me show you. If you use /etc httpd, okay, in httpd of conf.d folder, we have one more folder cd conf. Okay, here we have httpd.config file. If you use httpd.config, here you can see all the configuration about httpd web server. You can change the port number, we can change the server root. Okay, you can do lots of things. You can change the user, server, admin, and you can also set the, here if you know about modules, you can also install the modules also. Okay, and you can change the path of /var/httpd. You can set up the authentication for httpd when anyone want to connect with our web server. Means anyone try to log in with web browser, they access our IP address. So you can see some website ask ID and password. Here one panel open in this side, in this side one panel open in this side. Here some website asks about admin password. Okay, then for setting up this panel, this is not created by the developer, that panel. Okay, if you see when some website ask about ID and username and password, this is not created by web developer. In configuration file, we have one module authentication httpd authentication mod underscore auth. auth module. So if you install that module and enable it, so it will automatically ask the username and password. And we have some file where we store the password. Like, if you know about htpasswd command, okay, that's the use of htpasswd command. We can use the htpasswd command to store the password of that file, password of that web server in specific file. If I use passwd command, if I use give some file name test.txt, then we have some create a new file -c option. Okay, so here we also need some more option like use password. So you can check std password. We can store the password directly in file using the htpasswd command. Okay, when you are using authentication. Okay, so if we check in http conf folder, we have configuration file of httpd. Okay, but we don't change anything in this configuration file. We always use cd conf.d folder. Okay, and in this folder you can create one new file with any name you want. You can use red hat, you can use whatever you name. Okay, it will work, but the extension of that file, it will .conf. Okay, here you can see we have welcome.conf folder. Sorry, welcome.conf file. Okay, whenever you don't set the web server, if you just install the web server, okay, you can see the by default page of web server Apache. Though it's written in this file, you can see if no index.html. If you don't create the no index.html file, if you don't have index.html file in which folder, /www html folder, then what it will do, it will use this file to show the, if you check the content of this file cat, if you check the content of this file, you can see, you will see the, this is the page you see. You can see here, this is the page user to test the proper httpd web server. Okay, now if you want to, if you don't have html file, if you want to, when anybody use our IP address, and if you don't create the html file in /www.html, so if you want, by default they show some other page, don't show the red hat enterprise page which is for testing. So what you can do, you can open this file or change in this file, or what you can do, in welcome.conf folder, change the path here, whichever path you want to give. Okay, or and what you are asking about configuration, Archit, remove its configuration file. Okay, Archit, and then if you use, if you can able to change the path of this configuration folder. If you change the path, okay, then Archit, I think then they don't remove it. If you change the path for backup, then they don't DNF command don't remove the directories. Okay, so we are in the DNF command, DNF history info. Okay, if you want to DNF history, okay, now you can see I remove http software, then install again. But I want, what I want, I don't want to remove it, I don't want to install it again, I want to roll back. So I can roll back to the this version. So DNF roll back version ID 24. So what you can see, removing this much packages that installed by the httpd. Okay, and now let's move to the more DNF command. If you check in DNF, okay, if you, what we do, let me show you first manual way. Okay, if you want to configure the repository, okay, you can use the web URL or you can use the local image file. So using the lsvlk command, you can see I have one image file. Okay, in this image file, if I have one dix file, image file. Okay, if I am mounted this, it automatically mounted to the /run media root rhl, the name of the image. But if you go open this image file, here you can see you have app stream, then base OS. If you go to upstream, ls, here we have packages. If you go to package, if you do ls, you can see there are lots of packages. All the packages Reddit need to run, means all the packages you need to install. You can see you have Google text packages, Google Noto font size, font packages, we have font config packages, other packages also. Okay, so if you want to tell the Red Hat, if now you are from now, if you want to install any packages, so you can use this file. Okay, so in /etc/yum.repos.d folder, if you check, we have, I set the Red Hat repo. Let me delete this. Okay, and now you want to set, then first in this syntax we give the name of this repo, upstream, close it, then press enter. Then here we have one special keyword, base URL. We can use base URL equals to, if you are using some online URL, like if you open the file of vim apple release, if you open the vim apple release.repo, here you can see they are using the base URL. Sorry, means the link URL. Okay, so you, then you need to define the https, means the what is the protocol for URL. Then for, if you are using the file, now we are gonna use the file, means the local file. So for that we have file colon slash slash. This is the protocol for file. And now what you can do, just paste the link here, means the path. And here you have 3 slash, okay, 2 slash of protocol and 1 slash of file path. Okay, and here we have upstream folder, APP, just is capital. Then if you know about, every company software come with GPG signature. Okay, they provide that, we are providing the software, so they provide the signature of that company. Okay, so we don't have the GPG keys here, they need GPG keys, we don't have GPG signature keys. So what you can do, GPG check, you can set 0, so it will don't check the signature of that company and install the software. If you want to set, so what you can use 1, and you can use GPG keys URL, you paste here, or if you have file, then you put the file. Okay, this is my base upstream URL, but we have one more repository, so we can put here base OS. This is my base OS repository. Okay, same, you can use base URL equals to file colon slash 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 slash. If copy this from here till here, copy paste, then we can use, we have one more folder in this file, base OS. Okay, and GPG cake also 0, here also 0, I don't want to check the GPG. We don't have, Sumit, wait, I will show you how to connect. Okay, if you save this now, then if you use dnf repo list command, if we use dnf repo list command, we can see I have my upstream also come up and my base OS also come up. If you configure the file correctly, so you can able to install other software. So if you try dnf install httpd, so you can see here they are searching on this repository. They load this repository first. Okay, if you configure new repository, they first load it. Okay, so it's now load, and I can see dependency resolve already installed, nothing to do. Okay, but we can also use dnf config manager command to configure the repository. Okay, in dnf config manager command, we have, if we check the health, we have set config, then we can use set repo, we can check here. disable repo, enable repo. You can use add repo also. Okay, so you can use add repo, then URL of the repo. So what it will do, it will automatically create the file in /etc yum.repos.d folder and configure the repo for you. If you want to disable the repo, then we have hyphen disable option, disable repo. If you want to enable any repo, then you use hyphen enable repo and the repo id. Okay, repo id means repo name. Okay, and first let me told you how to use that, how to get the ISO file. If you check the lsblk command, I have this file /run/me. Okay, so what we have to do, just go to your devices in virtual machine and your optical disks, and here you can check I tick this RHL 9.2 DVD. So if I untick this, force unmount. If I use again lsblk, it will remove in some time. Okay, you can see I don't have that file. Okay, now if you are getting like this, so what you have to do, just go to devices, optical drive, and select this ISO file. Okay, if you don't get the you can see RHL is 9.2 is connected. If you don't getting the list of this, so what you can do, choose the disks and select your ISO file where is downloaded. So now I have in, I think I have other Linux. So you can check here, like I have in document, we have RHL DVD. Then you can select this, press open, then it will automatically come up here. Okay, and then select that file. Okay, if I use lsblk command again, you can see it connected. Okay, so let's discuss more about DNF command. If you want to DNF command, if you I want that, I don't want to install the HTTP software, I just want to download it. So in DNF command we can use hyphen download only option, hyphen download only. Okay, it's already installed. Let me check the help in DNF, hyphen help, grep download. Okay, we have download option. You can use DNF download command. I think DNF download. Okay, and only download packages. So if you check later ls, here you can see if I use download command, so my HTTP package downloaded here. Now if you want to install it manually, you can install rpm -i httpd. So warning, HTTP signature is no key, so is already installed. But if you don't have the keys, okay, there are some software they don't have the signature keys. So if you are installing using the yum command or dnf command, they show you the warning or they don't install. Okay, so in yum command you can use no. If you are using dnf or yum command, you can use dnf install httpd hyphen no gpg check. Okay, so it will not check the gpg keys. If you don't have the gpg keys, then it will also work. Okay, these are the some information about dnf and yum command. Okay, you can use same option in yum command also and dnf command also. Anyone have any doubt? uh Satvik, do one thing, just try to open that file. Sumit, just try to open that file, means go to the this path, the path of /root /media run root, then vbox. Just try to open that file path and check which file they are providing. If they are providing the app stream and base stream, then you can use this path also. You can use your path also, /run root vbox. Okay, just check the path. Okay, and practice for 5 minutes, then we are discuss about more things. You have 10-minute practice time. Okay. Online, if anyone have any question, you can ask in the chat box. Yes, Satvik, just go to that path and do LS. No, VBOX, CRT, MT. No, Satvik, do one thing. Just try to go to devices and then try to what you can say. Just try to add the file there. Like what is the name of that file? Optical disk, optical drive there. Okay. Just check and try to what is the use of config manager. Devagar, we can use the config manager command now. If you see, I created this repository manually, redhat.repo. But if you use config manager command, DNF config manager, in config manager command, we have lots of options. We have one option is add happen repo. And then you can give the repo URL www.repo.com. So what it will do? It will automatically download that repo file and then they create the file with they create the file in this folder slash it is a repository, and if you don't then you don't have to create the repo manually, it will automatically create for you. In interview, will they ask about yum server configuration? Yes, they ask about yum server configuration also, and roll back, roll out, and undo all the things. Okay, first connect this drive. Like if I show you, open your virtual box. Okay, if you are not getting the optical drive link here, so one way you can do is turn off your virtual box. Okay, and then turn off it, then let me show you. Turn off your virtual box, then in that virtual box go to setting. Okay, in setting, then go to storage, and here you can see controller ID. Okay, here you can do plus option, add optical drive. Okay, here you can see lots of drive in my system I have, but if you don't see the 9.2 ISO image drive which we provided you, if you don't see the ISO image, okay, so you can click on add, then select the ISO image. Don't select the VDI image, you have to select the ISO image. Okay, select ISO image, then click on this, then choose. If you choose, you can see here I have optical drive. Then click OK, save the changes and open your RHL 9.2 again and then check it. I guess it's there. Okay, ISO. Do one thing, Sumit, try to reboot your system one time, okay? Just try to reboot it. Okay, or you can do one thing, try with df hyphen h capital T command, df hyphen h capital T command, if you can able to see this file or not. I know sometimes they show the files like vbox that you are getting. Sumit, don't worry, you can do one thing. For now, you can try with Apple release. Okay, just open your Chrome, then search Apple release for RHL 9. Open the URL. Okay, and do one thing in this. Just install this DNF install HTTPS RPM. Okay, so it will install the Apple release repository. You can see yum repo list. Here you will get the Apple release software. Okay, so you can able to install some software from there if you are getting in the you are getting error in the local. Okay, and in DNF command you can also try these options. Hello. In DNF command, you can also try this option. Like you have multiple repositories. So what you can do, DNF disable repo equals to star means disable all the repos. Okay, and hyphen hyphen enable repo only enable the Apple release repo means you whichever repo you want to enable. Okay, list available no fetch. uh, Shravanant, if you want to use the full screen, so in your laptop, what you can do when you open the RHL, then press if you are using any laptop, so just press Control, right Control, okay, right Control plus C. So it will open the virtual box in this way. Okay, and you want to come out again, so again press Control Alt or and Control C. Okay, and if you want to copy the clipboard, okay, then we have to do some setup, like in input we have to, like, in where you can find the in setting you have to set up the clipboard option. Okay, in advance you can see shaded keyboard bi-directional, but it not gonna work sometime, because in file, in preferences, if you check the extension, you will get the extensions in virtualbox. So if you want to copy, so one way you can do is just go to Oracle VMware extension pack and download the extension pack from here. Okay, here you will get the accept download. Here you get the extension pack. This is the Oracle VirtualBox package, but you want to install the extension, so you can use the VirtualBox extension pack. Accept and download it. Okay, so it will download VBox extension pack. Then open the VirtualBox again. Then in, I think in here, then in tools, then you have extension pack manager. Here I already installed, but in your system if you don't have, click on install and install this extension pack. Open. So it will install the extension pack, but sometimes it's also not gonna work. Okay, so we have multiple packages, like try with DNF install Go language. Then we have kernel hyphen headers. Install these packages also. Okay, now I have some error in my repository. Let me check. DNF. Okay. Yum repo failure to install data cannot download. I think I remove the file. Let me check. I use the when I showing you the demo of DNF config add command, so you can see the file is created some. That's why I'm getting this error. If you install these packages, go and kernel header. So now you can try after this you can try restarting your VirtualBox. Okay, or you can try to copy the files. Hello, Control A, Control C. If I use paste, so I'm not able to paste here till now, but if you restart, you can see sometimes it's gonna work. But if you are not working, so you can just take the SSS in your window based system, and then you can do copy, then paste here. Take the SSS of your Linux operating system in your Windows. Okay, what is the difference between df-h and lsblk command? They were df-h-t command. If you check the manual, man df, you can see report files system disk space uses. Okay, but if you check the manual of lsblk command, you can see list block devices. Okay, means if you check the lsblk command, here you can see block devices, means hard disk, or you can attach any pen drive. Okay, so here you can see I have one hard disk connected. This is my base hard disk which we use when installing the operating system. Its size is 40 GB. Then I connected my optical drive. For VirtualBox, for our side, they are the software. We are just clicking on the optical drive. But for VirtualBox, they manipulate the operating system like they are a real hard drive, real disk. Okay, so you can see SR is 0. This is my second list block devices. So these are known as block devices. Okay, and if you df-h command, so you can see here you can see file system. So we have, this is one file system, this is one file system, this is one file system we have. Okay, and where is mounted, in which directory they mounted, and what is the, how much size we use, what is the available size, what is the use, what is the size, you can check here. Mainly the yummy setup. Thanks, Sumit. Welcome. Okay, we need to discuss. Okay, practice हो गई. Hello, hello, hello. Practice हो गई. Can you please repeat? What you want to, Rahul? From what? Which topic I repeat? Okay, so let's move to the next part. So we are gonna some discuss about sudo. So in sudo command, last topic. DNF report is showing the same that duty 1 and duty 2 missing. Just Rahul, just check with the lsblk command. Okay. So let's move to the next topic. So if we use sudo command, in sudo command, if you check the help, so sometimes interviewer asks you about, these are the some important option that you know in sudo command. Okay, in sudo command, if you want that, if sometime what I do, I am logging with Linux world user world. Okay, 1 minute, guys. If you use sudo command, then I use Linux world to log in. So sometimes you can see you can use sudo -i command to log in with root user. Okay, they ask you about Linux world. Okay, and if you log in again with the sudo -linux world command user. Okay, sometimes you can also use, yeah, sorry, we use su command to log in with any user. To change user, you can use su command. Okay, but sometimes if you don't use hyphen, so what is the difference between, so if you use hyphen and if you don't use hyphen, if I log in with sudo linux world, you can also log in with this way. Okay, so what is the difference between hyphen and if you don't put the hyphen? क्या? शेल एक्सेस तो मिल गया है ना मुझे, यहाँ पे देखो ना लाइनक्स वर्ल्ड, उसके बाद यहाँ पे भी लाइनक्स वर्ल्ड, जब मैं आइपन से लॉग इन किया, यहाँ पे भी मुझे सेल एक्सेस का मिला, यहाँ पे भी वही यूजर है, लोकल होस्ट है, तो इनमें डिफरेंस क्या है? हाँ, रूट यूजर मुझे वो नहीं बोल रहा हूं मैं, रूट यूजर के एक्सेस तो वो तो अलग पॉइंट है, वो तो सूडो है, ठीक है। यहाँ पे अगर यस यू, अगर एक मिनट मैं आपको फिर से बता दो, लेट मी एक्सप्लेन यू वंस मोर अगेन। ओके, सो you can also log in with su hyphen linux world. Okay, this is the one way you can run all the commands. But if I do exit, then log in with linux, yeah, su hyphen linux, su without hyphen, okay, linux world, and here I can also run all the commands. So what is the difference between these two? What is the difference between su hyphen and only su command? हाँ, दोनों में एडमिन एक्सेस है, एक्सेस वो नहीं है, एक्सेस तो वही मिलेगा जो लाइनक्स वर्ल्ड यूजर को है। जॉब आपके सामने है। क्या? वो क्या? जिस जगह पे स्लैश ये रूट डायरेक्टरी, वो तो स्लैश रूट थी, इसमें भी सेम डायरेक्टरी थी, एक ही जगह से चले मैंने दोनों कमांड। एग्जिट, हाँ। नहीं ऐसा नहीं है, ये तुम बोल रहे हो कि ये ऊपर वाले में लॉगिन नहीं हो रहा, मैं दिखाता हूँ तुम्हें, ये देखो, यस यू, तुम इसमें बोल रहे हो लॉगिन हो रहा है, यस यू लाइनक्स वर्ल्ड किया, चेक हुआ है मैं, लाइनक्स वर्ल्ड एग्जिट किया, यस यू लाइनक्स वर्ल्ड किया, ओके, लाइनक्स वर्ल्ड डज नॉट लाइनक्स, ओके, वर्ल्ड हु एम आई, लाइनक्स वर्ल्ड सेम है। सो इनमें जो मेन डिफरेंस है, ओके, सो इफ अगर आप चेक करो मैनी हेल्प कमांड, सो ऑनलाइन का देखो, ऑनलाइन वालों ने दिए सही आंसर, ओके, पावर विथ पावर ऑफ रूट यूजर, ओके, पावर ऑफ रूट यूजर, ओके, देवा देवाकर बोल रहा है you can log in with the power of root user, okay, if I use, if you use su hyphen linux world, okay, then you log in with power of root user if you linux world, linux w alt, but if you're logging with power of root user, then you can able to add the user add testing 123, so you can see permission denied. So the main difference between these is, if you use hyphen, if you know about caslet, it is the slash passwd file. So the home directory of the Linux world user is slash home slash Linux world. Okay. When you use su hyphen Linux world, so you will log into the home directory of Linux world. Okay. Now, if I exit, then if you don't use the hyphen, so you log into the, means you are present working directory. You don't change the directory. You are still in the slash root. That's the difference between hyphen and if you don't put the hyphen. Okay, and there is one more command, sudo. Okay, if you check the help of sudo, sometimes you can also use sudo hyphen I. I am logging with Linux world user now. If I use sudo hyphen I, then I put the option, password. You can see I am logging with root user. So these are the some important concept that you know. Okay, what is meant by hyphen I? If you check the manual of sudo, you can see here the option hyphen I, a b c d hyphen I, hyphen I login. Run the shell specified by the target user password database entry as a login shell. Okay, so it will log into the root user. So if you check section in the sudoers manually, there entry as a login shell. This is the profile.bash.rc read by the shells. Okay, so if you check ls-la, we have dot profile, cat dot profile. Oh, sorry, it's in root directory cd ls-la. Okay, we have cat dot profile file. Let me do one thing. ls-la, we have bash underscore profile. Okay, cat dot bash underscore profile file. Okay, so in this file you can see user specify environment and startup program. So when you log into the, let me do one thing, let me show you another file. Okay, ls, we have ls-l a. So here you can see we have lots of, in Linux if you want to hide the file, any file, so you just put the dot in the starting of that file. Okay, so it becomes the hidden file. And if you want to see the hidden file, then you can use hyphen a option in hidden file. Okay, so when you use the SSH, so all the SSH details store in the .ss folder. Okay, and there is one more file, git config. When you use the git config command, the details of the git config store here. If you install aws command, then we have .aws, one more .aws folder. Okay, and here we have history, .bash history command. Okay, so if you check the history which command I run, so you can see these are the commands I use. Okay, if you use the bash command again, if you use the history command again, you can see, you will see the different history. Okay, from another bash command, if you use bash command again, if you check the history again, this will normally work in what we say in virtual box. Then there we have multiple bash shell running, so it will work there. Okay, if you use the bash command again, so they'll launch the new bash shell, and you check the history of that bash shell again, you'll see the different history. If I use this, you can see, if I use history command, okay, 528. If I use bash command again, if I check the history again, you can see 512. If I use bash command again, if I use history again, you can see the history changing. Okay, but if you want to clear the history, then we have history hyphen c command. History hyphen c. You can use the history hyphen c command to clear the history. Okay, but if you check the history again, there is no history. But if you change the bash, then check the history again, the history will again come up. Okay, but if you want to delete, if you use history hyphen c command, you can see history is deleted. Okay, if you want to clear the history, then you have history hyphen c command. But if I launch bash, new bash shell again, if I use the history command again, you can see the history is still there. So if you want to clear the history, then we have one special file. If you use cat.bashrc underscore history. So this is the file which stores all the command which you run. So if you want to delete the history, don't use history hyphen c command. Just remove hyphen rf dot bash rc underscore history. ls, if I use history command again, it will only show the this command. If I use bash command again, if I use the history command again, bash history, now history is permanently deleted. If you want to recover the history, then you can use the recovery tool and recover that file again, then paste that file again here. If you use, like, if you create vm.bash underscore history file and create the command manually, like vm test.py ls hyphen la, if you store, if you save that file, then change, let then load the file again, sourc source.bash rc underscore history, load the history again. Let me do one thing. Okay, if you check the now history command, okay, wait, bash, if I use history command again, you can see मैंने बस उस फाइल में जाके कमांड टाइप कर दी, रन भी नहीं करी, तो यहाँ पे हिस्ट्री में दिखा रहा है. ओके, सो अगर आपको हिस्ट्री डिलीट करनी है, ये फाइल को जाके उड़ा दो. ls -el ए करोगे, यहाँ पे डॉट बैश आरसी अंडरस्कोर हिस्ट्री नाम से एक फाइल है। डॉट बैश आरसी शायद से ls -el ए, सो बैश आरसी अंडरस्कोर हिस्ट्री दिखेगा, मैंने डिलीट कर दिया अभी, ठीक है। डॉट पाइथन हिस्ट्री, if you okay, you can try the environment variable, okay. uh, Satvik, what they are doing behind the scene, if you check, change this history file, if you remove, so what they do when you launch any shell, so they create the, they run that command they we specified in the .bashrc file. If you use this keyword in .bashrc file, so what they will do, they don't create the history file, so your history not gonna save. That's the logic behind this. History size equals to 0. So if you, okay, if you don't, you can delete the history file, but I prefer you don't use this. Okay, always use the, it's work like z cell, okay, zss cell. Okay, in Linux, if you want to change the shell, now if I use bash command, which command, let me use, we are using the bash shell, but if you want to change the shell, so you can install that shell. Now in Red Hat, they by default give the SSL install, so you can see the shell is changed. If I any run any wrong command, so you can see. So if we use like, you are using the ls, if you are using from now you are using the, no, let me check it now work in this or not. Hello cat, hello, okay, you can see some combination not gonna work here, okay, that we use in bash, so they are not gonna work here, okay. You can check by yourself, but if you want to change the shell, so you can just change the ss command, it will change the shell to ss shell.
Like in my folder you can check, I have multiple files, but I want the find the files that are ending with .sh or .py or any file with special. Okay, if you want to find any specific file that are use a specific pattern, like you want to find the all logs file, just like we use grep command to find the particular string pattern in file, pattern string in file. But if you want to find the particular file in any directory or in your slash system root directory, then we can use find command. Okay, so find command by default show multiple files, but if you want to find the specific file, so you can use find command. Then we give the name, directory name, in which directory we want to find. If you want to find in slash, then you use the slash folder, or if you know any file that are presented in that directory, so always I prefer you always give the full path. If at that time if you don't know in which folder the file is presented, then you can use slash. But it will search the entire operating system and it will take the much time, use much RAM, use much CPU time. So instead of always using slash, use some specific directory. Like I want to search in slash etc. Then you use hyphen hyphen name keyword. Which file I want to search? So like I want to search the passwd. If I press enter, so let me check the help find command hyphen hyphen help. So if you check, we can use find command. Then we have option if you want to use file command path expression. Okay, so normally action if you use file command path. Let me hide this screen. Okay, just give me a minute. Okay, find command. Then you can use something like passwd. Let me try. Okay, so it will show the all file in slash that are normally starting with, just give me a minute. Okay, so let me use one thing. You have hyphen, I think name. Okay, so you have hyphen name option, so it will show you all the file with name passwd in slash directory. Okay, just try this. We have multiple option. You are if you want to find the file with size, I think it's capital or small. Let me check how to find the file with size in find command. So you can say, you can check, you can use the find command. Then you have hyphen size option. Like I want to find in slash for etc. Then I want to use size option hyphen hyphen size. I want to find with the size. Then we can use plus 10 MB, means the file which are greater than 10 MB. If I press enter, there is only one file in my slash folder which size is greater than 10 MB. If you want to use minus, you can use minus than, less than 10 MB. So it will show the all the files which are in size are less than 10 MB. Okay, now if you want to find the file like from name, but why I want to search in slash var folder and I want to find the file with name. I don't know the name, but I know the extension. So you can use star any name. Then you can use log. I want to find the log. So it will show print all the logs file present in slash var folder. Okay, same like if you want to use slash var, if you want to search in slash, you can also search in slash. These are the basic of find command. Okay, you can also search using the find command if you know find command. Let me use the find command cheat sheet. Find command cheat sheet and quick reference. So, okay, so if you want to find the name, means in find command, if you find the file in current directory, then use dot. But I want to specify the directory in which directory I want to search the file. You can use hyphen name. Then I want to file the all the files ending with .txt. Then we can use this pattern. Now in find command, if you want to, I want to find the name of the file is starting with 2020, but I don't know the middle name, but I know there is dot and CSV. So you can use this pattern, and you got to find this like if I copy, Control C, no, Control V. I have to find in slash folder, so it will print the all the file which are in which they are ending with JSON underscore and any name in the last. Okay, like you can search more things. They support all the options. They find type of name. Okay, you can define the size. You can use the user also, means the type hyphen d you can use. Like I want to search the file which are created by this user. I want to find all the file created by the root user in slash folder slash directory. Okay, if I press enter, so it will show the all the files created by the root user. I want to search the file created by the Linux world user. So it will print the all the file created by the Linux world user. Okay, if I check, this file, like if I check the file, this ls-l, if I enter the path, you can check the owner of this file is owner of this, or in this directory owner of the file is Linux world, group is Linux world. Okay, if you want to use the regex, so you can use regex option. What they are doing, any name in slash temp. Okay, the range is 0 to 9 dot file. You can also use the regex. Okay, if you want to max, you can in the current folder and subdirectories, you can use the max depth option. Means in current directory also, and in current directory, if your subdirectory, in that subdirectory also search the file. Okay, in I am it now, I am in the searching in the slash folder, so go in the slash folder, go in the slash etc folder. In that folder, if your http folder, go in that folder, and in that folder also search the file as much as subdirectories you can use max depth, how much directory you want to go. I define one, means what it will do, I define slash, then it will go to slash etc only, and it will search the file in slash etc only. But if you change the max depth, okay, so between subdirectory level 1 level 2, that's the option. So you can try. If you want to search the file by size, you have B option to search the file by block, by bytes, by kilobyte, megabyte, gib, terabyte and petabyte. Okay, same way, find all the file size bigger than 10 MB. So you can use this way, in slash folder minus than 10 MB, find all the size at exact 10 MB. So what you can do, you can copy, let me copy this for in slash folder. I want to search the all the files are exact 10 MB slash folder. So these are the files, this size in exact 10 MB. Okay, now these are the file name. Okay, if you want to find single file based on the user, if you want to, if you know the file name but you don't know where the file store, so you can use in this way, find in slash directory, the file is created by the root user and the name of the file is takemin.txt. I know the file name but I don't know where the file is stored. If you like, किसी ने डॉकर का प्रोजेक्ट बनाया, बना दिया, याद है कि मैंने docker.sh फाइल में बनाया था, पर कौन सी डायरेक्टरी में थी याद नहीं, इतना याद है कि स्लैश में थी, स्लैश etc में स्लैश टेम्प में डाला था, तो यहाँ पे लिख दो स्लैश टेम्प, उसी में जाके ये सर्च करेगा यूजर रूट ने बनाया है, उसके बाद नेम ये नाम से है. Okay, so these are the basic concept of file command. You can also go in the depth. There are lots more options, lots more regex you can use in the find command. Okay, find date and date, a time. You can also specify the file created to that specific date. I want to see the files that are created on the only 12 December or 13 December. So you can specify the time, or you can to check the file which are modified last 1 minute, accessed more than 24 hour ago. If you want to check which file are accessed 24 hour ago, so you can use a time option. You can use, let me go show you, modified greater than, so yum time you can use in find command, let me use in slash folder, a time is 24 hour ago. So it will print the, let me, plus 0 yum time. I think they run the yum time command differently. Okay, so it will show the all the files. What is meant by 0? Modified greater than 24 hour ago. Okay, modified between now and 1 day ago. Okay, if I check modified 5 status changed 6 hour ago, if I use this c time, you can see the file status which are the changed 6 hour ago. So you can use this option. So let me use hyphen type. I think type option we need to use hyphen type. Let me do one thing. Let me check the syntax. C time, A time, find slash m. What's giving the error? Minus C time. We don't need to define hyphen type. We just need to use C time. Okay. Invalid argument. I think they are taking like this is. Let me put in string. ctime. I think the manual is old. Let me try another command. A time find in slash a time. So what they will print accessed last 24 hour ago. Okay. So go to the cheat sheet, open it, check the manual of the find command, try all the options, search by size, search by name, search by string, try regex. Okay. These are the some find command. Which command is better, find command or locate command? You can try with locate command also if you know about locate command. But if you check the locate command, okay, find file by names. Okay, so I think the find command is more useful, Archit. Okay, because the find command you can also use the regex. We can also define the size. Okay, if you check the manual of find command, there are lots of more options. They search the directory hierarchy. File command is more advanced than the locate command. So always use the find command. Try to use find command. Okay. So guys, just practice for 5 or 10 minutes. Then we are discussing. We are going to discuss about more things in Linux. Okay. Some important things, some basic things that you need to know. Okay. For online, anyone have any question? किसी को कोई doubt है? समझ आया यहाँ तक सब कुछ? Sudoers. Yes, Aman, I'm gonna cover sudoers. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's first cover the sudo file. Then we are gonna discuss the. Then we will practice. Okay. So सर प्रोजेक्ट में जब भी स्क्रिप्ट रन हो रही है हमेशा प्री परमिशन डिनाइड बता रहा है प्रॉपर मैनेजमेंट प्रोजेक्ट में. ओके 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 सात्विक, try to run the script using the root user. Log in with root user, then run the script. Okay. So let's start with the sudoers. Okay, if you know, if you want to run the any command that is, yeah, what do you say, in the sbin directory, all the commands are going to run by the root user are stored here. Sbin. uh, Satvik, you can let me complete this concept, then you can try. If you face any error, then told me. Okay, so now let me explain you sudo. If you know about sudo, if you want to run the any command which is for root user and you want to run this command as a normal user, if I log in with Linux world, okay, if I run user add command Rahul, it will not gonna work. But if I use sudo user add Rahul, so it will ask the password of Linux world. If I enter the password, you can see I am able to run the command. But if I use, if anyone think that Rahul user get the permission to create the file, create the user, that's not the thing, the right thing. The behind the scene sudo command, what they do, behind the scene root user is the one who is going to run the sudo command. This command user add command is not run by the Rahul user privileges, it's run by the root user privileges. Okay, if you use sudo id command, you can check. When you use sudo command, then you use the id command, you can say the id command is run with the privilege of root user. ओके, तो ऐसा नहीं है किसी को लगता है कि sudo जब हम लगाते हैं तो नॉर्मल यूजर को परमिशन मिल जाती है, कोई परमिशन नहीं मिलती. वो बिहाइंड द सीन sudo कमांड जो है रूट यूजर के ही प्रिविलेज से रन होती है. Okay, so if you want to set the sudo, then let me exit. And for sudos, we have one file slash it in slash etc or sudoers file is DOERS sudoers file. You can edit this file, or we have one more command. You can use vi sudo command. Both open the same file. Both are the same command. Then we can run any cmd command with sudo. Yes, Ravi, you can run any cmd command with sudo, but you need the privilege. Means if you have access of the sudoers, then only you can run. If you give the permission to the normal user of sudoers, then only you can able to run them. Okay, here in this file, if you go down, okay, here you can see, here you can see in sudoers file we have allow the root user, but if you want to add more user, then you can use insert mode, press enter, and here if you want to give the sudoers access to any user, enter their name, username. Like I want to give the access to the Linux world user, then here the main thing that कोई explain नहीं करता ये thing क्यों है, बस बोल देते हैं कि all लिख दो. किसी को पता है, किसी को sudo की फाइल के बारे में पता है क्या होती है फिर. Okay, if you search on the Google or any text, okay, so the use of this field is from which system you want to run the sudo power. Means I can define here, if I log in with 192.168.1.120, then only you can able to run the sudo command. If you log in with any other system, then if you अगर आपके फाइल में sudo का एक्सेस लिखा है, पर यहाँ पे लिखा है कि ये डिफाइन किया है कि यही आईपी एड्रेस से तुम sudo की कमांड चला सकते हो, तो तुम किसी भी और सिस्टम से लॉगिन कर लो, कोई भी और उससे लॉगिन कर लो, तुम sudo कमांड यूज नहीं कर पाओगे. ओके, so that's why when you see the here you always put the all means you can able to run the command from all the system. If you check the option sudo first file uh, all keywords at once, you can see first represent the user, the rule applies, represent the host where the rule applies. मीनिंग ऑफ द होस्ट मतलब फर्स्ट फील्ड होती है जहां पे इन द फर्स्ट फील्ड वी पुट द यूजर नेम, इन सेकंड फील्ड वी पुट द होस्ट नेम फ्रॉम द व्हिच system the rule applies. So if you use all, then from the all system the rule applies. Okay, if you check what does mean, and if we know how one no pass wd in sudo file. Okay, I also open this. Okay, so if we now I am putting that I want to run all from all system and from all the host. Okay, and here you can put the command, like you want to run all the command, then I put all the command. Let me do one thing. Let me create one user add testing. Okay, let me use via sudo command. Let me use testing user here. Okay, testing user all. Okay, now if I log in with su testing, you can see I am able to log in. If I use sudo user add, they ask you password, and here you can see we trust you, great power comes with great responsibility, think before you type, respect the privacy of other. Here you can see they ask the password of, they don't asking the password of root user, they are asking password of testing user. So if I don't set any password, let me do one thing, let me exit right, and from root account I set the password root is password testing a. Okay, if I log in again, yes, you have been testing. If I run sudo user add, let me don't think we have, can we run ls belge command using permission? Okay, let me we have one file, we can use the cat /etc /shadow file. Okay, we don't have permission, but if you sudo /etc /shadow file, then it's gonna ask the password. If you give the password, you can see cat /etc /shadow file, you can able to read the file after giving the password. But if we want want to use the pseudo concept in automation, okay, then we we need the command should be in non-interactive. So now what I am doing, I am using sudo, but it's asking the password. It's now not asking now, it will again ask. जब अब भी हम कोई फर्स्ट sudo कमांड चलाते हैं, अगले 10 सेकंड के बाद वो फिर से पासवर्ड मांगती है। 10 सेकंड तक वो नहीं मांगती, उसका कोई स्पेसिफिक टाइम होता है, उसको भी आप चेंज कर सकते हो। But if I run the command again after 10 seconds or some time, then it's gonna ask the password. So what we do? Let me do exit. Let me open the VI sudo file again, and in this sudo file we have one keyword. Let me check. We have no pass wd. Let me check. Yeah, we can use all equals to no pass wd. Let me try this. Okay, हम no pass ऐसे भी लगा सकते हैं ना, सिर्फ no pass wd. If I check this now, if I log in with SEO Linux world, okay. Now if I use sudo cat /etc/shadow, you can see it's asking the password. If I enter the password, sorry, I use for testing user. Okay, so we need to log in with testing user. Sudo testing. If I use sudo cat /etc/shadow file, you can see without giving the password I am able to read the files. Okay, but here is one more bug come up. Bug नहीं, अब यहाँ पे देखो क्या हो रहा है। एक मिनट देख लो सब, बाद में करते रहना जो कर रहे हो। गुंजन एक मिनट देख लो, एक मिनट देख लेना, ठीक है। आई एम लॉग इन विथ टेस्टिंग यूजर, ओके, आई हैव sudo power. So what I can do? Sudo passwd root. I can change the password of root user. Okay, so to solve this challenge, what we can do? कैसे करेंगे कि वो सारी कमांड चला पाए, कि पर बस ये कमांड ना चला पाए, उसको रूट का पासवर्ड चेंज करते ही नहीं आना चाहिए। हमें उसको सारी कमांड्स का एक्सेस देना, बस इस एक कमांड का एक्सेस नहीं देना। We need to give the access to the test user all the commands using sudo, but we don't need to give the access, because they can any point in time they can able to change the password of root user. कौन सी फाइल में? हाँ हाँ, uh, if you change the access of passwd file, there is no meaning, because the sudo command always run the command with root user, and root user, the admin user, root user can able to read the any file in the system if they don't have the access. If I use, like, I can change the access chmod slash I want to change 000. I don't have to give any permission to passwd file change. If you check the permission of passwd file ls-l, you can see there is no permission, but I can still able to read the content of that file. Sudo cat रीड कर पा रहा हूं, कुछ भी नहीं कर पाएंगे, उसको एडिट भी कर सकता हूं मैं sudo access। नो पासवर्ड तो मेंशन किया है सात्विक, ये पासवर्ड नहीं मांग रहा, पर हमें क्या चाहिए कि उसको जब sudo चला, when we are running the sudo command, if you want that when you are using user add command, they don't ask the password, like I want to add the any user, they don't ask the password, then use no passwd command, no passwd keyword in sudo file. That's the use of no passwd keyword. But why, what I want that this user can also able to change the password of root. So I want to restrict this command. The testing user can able to run all the other commands. They can able to change the password of Linux world user. I want this, but one thing I want that sudo passwd command root, they only can't able to change the password of root. That one thing I want. उसको बस रूट का पासवर्ड चेंज करते नहीं आना चाहिए। हम किसी फाइल की परमिशन हटा देंगे, कोई फायदा नहीं है। सिंगल रूल, कितने रूल लगाओगे, कितने रूल लगाओगे, कैसे लगाओगे? तो कैसे लगाओगे पासवर्ड? हम, मुझे क्या चाहिए कि सिर्फ वो पासवर्ड कमांड ना चला सके, पर मुझे ये नहीं चाहिए कि पासवर्ड कमांड ना चला सके, मुझे चाहिए कि सिर्फ वो रूट यूजर के ऊपर पासवर्ड कमांड ना चला सके। Okay, anyone from online know the answer of this? How can we set up? This this is the basic concept interviewer gonna ask how to set up this. Anyone from online? Satvik, it's not gonna work. If you done any setup, it's not gonna work. So for that, we need to make some changes in sudo file. So what we need to do? Check the passwd command. Which passwd? Set up sudo permission only. Sudo permission only. Okay. So what for that? What do we need to do? Copy the path of this file. तो बताओ ना कैसे लगाते हैं रेस्ट्रिक्शन। पर ये हम लिखेंगे ओके वी आर सुडो वी वांट दैट दिस यूजर कैन हाँ पेस्ट कर दिया अब बताओ so for that if we want that user can't able to run the specific command we have this symbol we can use this symbol okay means this user can't able to run this command only okay if I log in with su hyphen testing uh, cannot find name for the user id let me try sudo passwd linux world sorry user is not allowed to as a root on local host okay but the use case is we want that this user can able to run the passwd command on other user but not only on root user यूज करके नेगेटिव यस यस प्रियम यू आर राइट इसको यूज करके यस सात्विक we can use this concept and for that what we one more thing we need to do we need to define the full command space root so now if you use this if you log in with testing user again if you sudo passwd root they can't able to change the password of root but they can able to change the password of linux for user see ओके किसी भी स्पेसिफिक कमांड पे रेस्ट्रिक्शन लगाना है पहले उसका फुल पाथ निकालो और वो नॉट सिंबल लगा के उसकी कमांड टाइप कर दो ओके ऐसे ही मल्टीपल कमांड भी डिफाइन कर सकते हो यू कैन डिफाइन द मल्टीपल command in this way we are sudo if you want to define the multiple command okay but uh, but what we need to do now we need to give the same permission to another user also now I testing user but I want to give the same permission to linux user also that they can able to change the password of all the users so it's not good to just copy these again paste this same thing for other user so what we can do we can create the alias for the commands so if you go up and check in this file you can see here they created the alias means where from the where the all keyword come up यहाँ पे all कैसे आया उनको कैसे पता all means सारी कमांड चला सकते हैं if you check this file here you can see on the top you can see the all keyword somewhere or they created the some other file but if you want that user can able to run the only command related to processes so uncomment this file uncomment this line and you can create own symbol like I want to create lw if any word use lw keyword so which command they can able to run they are able to run slash usr bin slash passwd only if use and what we can do in this file testing instead of all we can use lw So they can able to run the passwd command only. And same like we can mention all the commands whichever we want. We can create in this way alias of the command if you want to, if you have multiple commands. Okay, this is the one of the way. And now if anyone want to give the access to the users, multiple user, when we install the Linux operating system, by default they create one group name called will. Okay, so in will group, if you check, they also same way. So in what they do, if you want to set the permission to a specific user, means same permission to multiple users. So what we can do, we can create group and set that permission to a group, and we can add those user to that particular group. जैसे मैंने दिखाया था कि डॉकर ग्रुप में हमने ऐड किया था तो डॉकर की कमांड चला पा रहा था. ओके, सेम वे हम किसी भी ग्रुप को यहाँ पे क्रिएट कर सकते हैं जैसे व्हील ग्रुप है. Anyone have any other questions? So can we do no passwd lw root? No, you can't do that. You don't use alias. You have to define in the alias section there. Like if you want to use this, so like I want to create the alias. Like if I create lw, then I have to define here slash they are not able to run slash usr means slash passwd, then root, then commit, then use comma, then define all the other command whichever you want to run. Like vim command they can able to run in this way. Okay, what is alias? Alias you can search on the Google. Like if you want to make the command name small, so you can use alias like a nickname. Name is it in the place of person real name. Like if you want to use the nickname, I confused, please explain about the permissions. Which permission? There are multiple type of permission. If you want to about ch mode permission, fs access control list permission, or sudo's permission. Or okay, second field. All means, if I check, all means from which computer if I want to run. If I use, okay, the simple meaning of all represent the host, means which when you use SSH, okay, from SSH, if you are logging with 192 any specific IP, then only you can use the sudo permission. Okay, so in all we define the IP addresses. Okay, now use all means from anywhere they can able to run the commands. Or we can check the all, we can check the example. Like if you want to run, let me check any example they have. If you want to run the command all means in sudo, if you want to run from any specific target computer, they can, you can provide the IP address there. Okay, so edit sudo file. Let me check any documentation we have the example. So if we exit command to execute, update config, this is not, we are sudo. Involve, what we do normally, we just enter the IP addresses here. Okay, or if you same like you can use, you can think like, so if root user, then all keyword, then equals to in bracket all, something like that. So what we can do instead of all, we can give the put the IP addresses 192.168.0.20. So when root user log in with this specific IP, like LW user log in with this specific IP, then only they can able to use the sudo power. That's the meaning of all. Okay, or you can also use in this way. You can also use not, means they are not able to run from this specific IP, means all the system they can able to run the sudo power, but from this system they can't able to run the sudo commands. Okay, I think Devahar is clear now. What is the relation between shadow file and passwd file? Okay, so if you are asking about the relation between shadow file and, let me explain you. Okay, Aman, so ध्यान दे दो एक मिनट, थोड़ा सा ध्यान देना, क्योंकि जो है ये जो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं यही सेम क्वेश्चन इंटरव्यू वाला भी पूछ सकता है. तो उसको कैसे बताओगे? व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन पास, रिलेशनशिप क्या है पास डब्ल्यूडी और शैडो फाइल का? डिफरेंट रिलेशनशिप क्या है इतना तो पता है. द यूज ऑफ पास डब्ल्यूडी फाइल इज they store the information about user, all the user. Let me explain you every field one by one. Okay, pass wd. In pass wd file, the first field is username, the second field is password, but here is the x means the password is linked to the another file, and the another file is, let me save this file, let me exit, and the another file is where is password store is shadow file. Okay, the second field is here, means the password. They take the second field from this file. They are linked together somehow. Okay, डिफरेंस इनमें यही है कि स्लैश पासवर्ड फाइल यूजर्स की इंफॉर्मेशन स्टोर करती है और स्लैश शैडो फाइल उन यूजर्स का पासवर्ड स्टोर करती है. अब ये जो पासवर्ड है, दिस इज द पासवर्ड इन encrypted format. They use SHA-512 algorithm, or if you want to change, you can change the algorithm also. Okay, so now if you check the passwd file, in passwd file the first field is username, the second field is user password which is linked to the slash etc slash shadow file, the third field is uid, and the uid of the root user is 0. Okay, and and one more interesting thing is the power of the admin privilege is not in the name of the root user. It's come from the id. Whichever user means any user have the 0 id, they can able to run the root command. If I change, like if I use, okay, if I create user add, let me add the user Lenovo. Okay, let me do one thing, set the password Lenovo a I set the password. Let me do one thing, let me open the passwd file, and let me do one thing, let me for some time change the id of this user to id of Lenovo user for some time to the 0, and change the id of root user to 100. So see now what happened. If I save this file, this file is read only, what happened? You can use this option to save this file. If I open this file, cancel etc passwd, you can see the id of Lenovo user is 0 now. The power of the admin privilege is not come from the name, it's come from the uid. If I log in with su-lenovo, you can see लॉगिन हूं मैं लिनोवा से, पर यहाँ पे प्रॉम्प्ट क्या आ रहा है, हैश प्रॉम्प्ट. इफ यू चेक हु एम आई, यू कैन सी लिनोवो. इफ आई यूज, आई डोंट सेट एनी sudo permission for लिनोवो यूजर, बट आई कैन स्टिल ऐड द यूजर ऐड Rahul 1. There is no error, you don't need any sudo permission, or you don't need any, you can also read the all the root command you can run from this user Lenovo. Okay, if now I exit, I use user del Lenovo. I don't want to running let me let me do one thing, let me use etc password file. Okay, so let me again set the id of root user 0. Let me again change the id of root user is 0, and in this file the id of Lenovo user is let me, okay, so that's the thing. And the fourth field is GUID means the group id. Okay, then we have, what is meant by this? Payment group ID. Then we have GCOS field. This is called as GCOS, GCOS, GCOS field. Here we put the nickname or the what is the use of, like here you can see I have nobody user, kernel overflow user means this user are created to handle the kernel overflow issue. There are system user also, there are uh, pre-created system user, they are services user also. So what is the use of this user? We can define the full name, we can define the nickname, we can define the full name of this user, we can store the information about this user in gcos field. This is a gcos field. Okay, then we have home directory. What is the home directory of this user? When you use any command to log in with any user, if I log in with Linux world user, how Linux world user come to know? You need to always log into this ID. This directory, home directory, is defined in the passwd file. Okay, so if you change, if you I exit here, if you change the information in passwd file, if I change the Linux world user directory, like I want to change to the, I want to change this user directory to the slash home, only slash home. And if you save, if I log in again with Linux world user, you can see, check pwd, I am in the slash home. This is the use of fifth field, or which field is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 field. Okay, and the last field is when user login, which command you need to run. You can see there is always one command, bash. Means when user login, they why they always get the bash shell, because of the this line. If you change, if I change this line to slash usr slash bin slash date, now what will happen? If I log in with this user, okay, if I log in with this user, you can see let's see hyphen Linux world, they run date command and exit. If I again log in, you can see they run date command, they exit, they run date command, exit, they run date command and exit. So you can use this use case in industries, like if you want to use the, there is one user, you want that user only can able to check the logs. So what you can do, open the etc passwd file and change the command to read the logs command, like change this command to something like change this command slash usr slash bin slash cat, and I want to check the only logs. There is no log file slash var slash log slash messhes messages. If you store this, save this, when any user login, there is no file. Let me do one thing. Let me use some other file. Okay, so they can able to only when anyone login, they can only able to see the like slash etc slash passwd file. Let me save it, and if you check login with this user, failure to execute. Oh, okay, there is I'm getting this error. Let me do one thing, just give me a second. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me use which cat. This is the user asr bin slash cat. Let me open this file again slash passwd. Okay, and then I log in with, from when Linux user login, what I have to do, I have to always run this command, and in this command I have to use, let me put this in the column, so slash usr slash path empty, because they are thinking like slash etc passwd is a different command. That's why I'm getting this error. So if login or failure to execute no such file or directory, so you can try the command combination here. Okay, so now I'm just running the one is top command. Okay, so we have top command, so I am just putting the top command here. So if I use top command, if I save, so when Linux user login, So he can able to only see the logs. He can able to only run the top command. टॉप कमांड के अलावा कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा, बस टॉप कमांड चलती रहेंगी उसके सामने, जैसे वो कंट्रोल सी और क्यू प्रेस करेगा वो लॉग आउट हो जाएगा, कुछ नहीं कर सकता। सिर्फ इंटर कोई इंटर्न आया है उसको बस दिखाना है, लॉग देखते रहे, उसको आप दोगे एक्सेस दोगे कि लॉग्स देखते रहे बस, ठीक है। तो यूज बैक बैक कैन ट्राई Santan, you can try by yourself. I need a more time to explain the more concept, so you can try by yourself. But I'm just explaining you the concept how things work. Okay, so you can try you can create your own syntax and try by yourself. Okay, but if you're intern, what you want, that intern can only able to see the logs, CPU uses. So what you can do, create the intern account, and then he can able to only run the top command. So when they log in, they come at 10 a.m. in the office. When they use, then when they log in, they only see the logs. Nothing else. They can't touch, they can't do anything. He just explore the option of top command and press I to remove the inactive services. If you top command, if you want to remove the inactive services, mean services which are not using any CPU, so you can use I. So it will show the only services which are using the CPU and memory. You have multiple options in the top command. Okay. Anyone have any doubt or any other topic they need to learn, cover in the Linux? Okay. For online, anyone have any question or any other topic you need that you feel that we need to learn or we need to cover for the interview or the preparation of the DevOps? Okay. Here we can't create what we can you explain the alias again in VS sudo file? Alias is not a concept of the VS sudo files. Okay. Any file. Which any file? Devahar. Alias is not concept from sudo files. Okay. Let me explain you alias in simple language. Alias is one command in Linux. Okay. Using that command, what you can do? I have one big command. Like if you know you want to find command slash, I want to find the file which are names starting with in slash folder which are starting with the star.txt file or in the slash etc slash usr. Okay, I want to file that are in slash usr. Guys, give me 1 minute. Okay. Means I want login to. Okay. So like I have big commands, like we have find command, I want to find. This is the one command that I need to run the daily basis. One command I want to run the daily basis. I want to run this command daily. This is the one smallest command. But in Linux, if you know about partition or creating statics or video, we have big command line. When you use Docker MySQL command, we set the environmental variables. They are big command. They are in the 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines command. Okay, big command. So what you can do instead of create, you write this command one time, and there is one command in Linux. If you know what Vim bash RCPL, here you can see alias. They created the alias. Okay, so you have alias command. In this way, if I use, when I use this command, find, if I use this command, okay, a name. If I use this command, this will show the all the files. But what I want, I don't need to type this command again and again. So what I can do, alias, I want to use only is run any alias. You can do whatever you want to do. Like I want to use the Lino. Whenever I type the Lino, this will run this command, alias. I created the nickname for this command. Whenever I'll run lino command, so what you can do, this behind the scene, they will run the find command. This is the meaning of alias. So when you can see, there is one special file bash rc. In this file, you can see there are multiple alias created. Alias created. When we run the rm command, remove command, behind the scene, they always use the hyphen I option. When you use the cp command, copy command, behind the scene, they always use the hyphen I option. Same for move command. They, behind the scene, they always use hyphen I option, but they don't tell you to put. Okay. You can also create the multiple command. Okay. But when you do one thing, let me, when you use the bash command, I created the alias on another terminal. If you use lino command again, they are not going to work here. If you exit command again, I go to last bash. Here I created the bash alias. So here I can able to run. But if you change the shell, bash shell, then you can't use the alias from created one shell to another shell. So for that, we need to mention in the bash rc file that alias alias equals to lino equals to which command I want to run, find in slash usr, give me 1 minute. Okay, in slash usr happen name all the files starting with .txt, and you can use this way. And to load this bash shell, to tell this bash shell, we made some changes in your shell. So what you can do, your source command, in source command you can give the bash rc file. We made some changes, so again load the bash rc file. So if you use lino command again, so you can see now you can able to run the find command using only nickname. If I change the bash again, you can use anywhere if you want to make the alias permanent. Okay, that's the use of alias. Okay, so guys, anyone have any question, you can ask here, then Vimal sir will be continue. After 5 minutes, Vimal sir is coming. Okay, so anyone have any question, just ask. Any other topic you need to learn, or you feel that this topic will be need to cover, so we will cover that topic. Okay. Question, use backtick here, we can't. Can you explain the way? So any file, I mean login the top command, there will be only top option. Here we will create any file. In sudo file, vi sudo file, that's the way we I told you in vi sudo file. If we check here, there are lots of alias created in vi sudo file. You can check here. This is process alias. If you use this alias, then this all command can user able to run. You can, instead of putting the commands in sudo entry, you can also put the alias. Sandeep, I'm going to discuss the boot process later. We will discuss the boot process in more advanced later. But for now, you can ask the queries related to the Linux. Okay, means the file if you want to run any specific topic. Okay. So, guys, Vimal sir is here, so let's continue.
Perspective, for Docker perspective, this concept is very important. So let me start my VM. Start my VM. What is the concepts? Okay. So in the last class, guys, I have explained you between two operating systems. Now there would be virtual machines or bare metal or the container. So between two operating system, okay, uh, if you want a connectivity for XYZ region, so between A computer and between B computer, if you want a connectivity, so there's multiple things we have to think about. So we have to think about, okay. uh, but one of the aspect that we should know is, if this computer is having a private IP. One of the example can be your laptop running with Windows, for example, and this system running with a public IP address. One of the example could be Google running with public IP. So any public IP, if you want to connect with private IP, you have to connect to public IP. And that's one thing, guys. This is a source. If A is the one who is initiating the connection. Okay, so packets will start from A and go toward B. So A is a source having a private IP, and B is a public IP. In this case, this destination, because my packet would like to go to the system. So if any private IP want to go to public IP, it is not allowed. I explain you why. But for this, what you have to do between these two guys, you have to put one router, and that has enabled with the masquerading concept, or also known as D-netting. And mostly in our normal world or setup, this is what we always have. You don't need to do this. If you go for Dockers also, they also have this setup. Okay, but as we guys go more deep into Docker, then I explain you that point in time in upcoming classes. Those who are part of my Docker advanced training. So then we'll go more deep into Docker, and then you come to know, then you come to know, whenever you launch a Docker container, behind the scene, guys, this container running in your base OS, in my case Red Hat 9, is called Docker host. Okay, and from the Docker host, guys, they share many things, many resources. So they are working on a shared approach. They shared memory, RAM, CPU, operating system kernel, and many other aspects also. They shared networking also. Okay, so whenever you want to do any dating, not dating, the denetting part, so of the dating, denetting part, okay. So behind the scene, denetting is actually implemented by, okay, one of the concept of Linux. So in the base system, guys, there's one program who implement the denetting. The name of the program is called IP tables. IP tables in Linux is a command or tool we use for firewalling. So whenever we want to implement firewall security, we use IP tables. Okay, it's called filtering. But IP table have one more concept, guys. Okay, the concept is called netting. So with the help of IP tables, we can also implement the netting. Okay, so what I'm talking about, I told you in my last class, your routers is working in your base system. So this is a base system, in my case called Red Hat 9. Here we have a router by SDN. This is called bridge also, layer L3 bridge, layer 3 bridge. Okay, and this bridge or router is there in the Red Hat base system. I told you the gateway IP Docker 0. Okay, so this router is actually belongs to a base system. So let me show you one more time. So if I go to my operating system again, okay, so this is your base system. Okay, so this is a base system, and in this base system, your Docker is running. So this Docker host, and the system where the Docker is running, same system will provide the routers to the Docker. And one of the interface of the router that work as a gateway, okay. So you will find here, so if you run the command called ifconfig, the way I show in my last class also, then you can see this is a base system. And if you see here, Docker 0 is a network card. having this IP address, and this card actually internally associated with the router is not visible here, is one program running somewhere. Okay, so this is the IP address of the gateway or the router. But where this card is, your base system. It means what I'm trying to prove you, base system has a router. It means router is the one who will enable the netting, D-netting. It means this D-netting part has been implemented by the base system, the Docker host. So in the base system, okay, it's called Docker host, rel 9, they use iptables program to set up this D-netting rule or any netting rule. Okay, so if I show you here, so use one command, you don't need to do so, it will automatically implement by Docker. But there's a command called iptables, and I want to see the details called the table of the netting. And can you show me the list? So there's one option here in iptables command. Okay, and when I run this command, you will see we have some kind of masquerading enabled. And what is enabled? That any of these IPs, okay, see there's a range, right? And this range we give to your Docker container. So any of these IPs want to go to internet, we do masquerading, means DNet. Okay, see this rule is there. Okay, so technically this rule you don't have to create by yourself. When you set up Docker, they will automatically create this rule. Or I can say another way also, you know, whenever you launch a container, they will associate it with the network called bridge network. In this network, if you inspect this network, name is called bridge. Okay, so it is written if anyone use this network, we'll do masquerading, means SNet. Okay, but in this network, what is IP of the container? These IP. It means any of these IP will be associated with the container. I don't have any container running right now. Container. Before the container, there is a private IP address. If this container will want to go to internet, we'll first do masquerading. Okay, but this masquerading guys is visible in the Docker command, but Docker does not know how to do masquerading. So Docker is just a combo package. Everything in Docker is done by some of the basic internal Linux commands. And the command that we'll use for doing DNetting or masquerading for the Docker is a Linux pure command, and the command of the Linux called iptables. So I'm trying to teach you what is happening behind the Docker. Okay, it means if you does not want to use Docker, and without Docker, if you want to do netting by yourself in a Linux system, then you can use iptables netting table. How? There's a command for this, but I'm just showing you this is what happening behind the scene. So Docker use iptable behind the scene for creating netting or DNetting. I'm just trying to tell you the deep, what is happening at the deep level. Okay, otherwise we don't need to do anything else here. Okay, so there's one thing I want to add here. Okay, but if private guys want to go to public, we need DNetting. But any public guys, if they want to go to private world, is a different concept altogether. Okay, private to public is a different concept. We need DNetting. If public guys want to connect to private, is a different concept. It's mostly it is something like this. You are sitting in your laptop, having the private IP address. And anyone from the internet, if they want to go, if they initiate the connection, this goes source. If they initiate the connection and try to go inside you to connect to some of the program, then for them, you would be the destination. And you have the private IP and these guys the public IP. If public IP initiate the connection and want to go to private world, this is also not allowed. And to implement this concept, we have to use a concept called SNetting, source netting. So what is source netting? Let me explain this concept to you. Okay, concept to you. So for example, let me show you the same, almost same diagram what I explained in my last class. So let's say this is, this is, okay. So this is your, this is your network, private network. In this network, you have some operating system, laptops, or the containers, same things. Okay. Then you have one switch that is connected to everyone, and switch is connected to the router. Okay. And in this case, let's say your network, this room is network, is working for the IP address range 170.17.0.0/16, means 2525, means this is your network name. Okay, and all this container and the machines we have given the IP, let's say 17.0.2, 0.3, this is 0.4. Our router source has some IP address, let's say IP is 170.17.0.1. Everyone belong to same network, so they can ping to each other. each other. Okay, but this side we have an internet. Internet. If you want to go to internet, the router should have a public IP. Okay, so let's say the public IP is 1.2.3.4, and through this we have internet connectivity, physical wire. Now, in this case, in this case, if anybody from the internet try to go to your computer number A or container number A, okay, so anyone in the internet, guys, they normally have always the public IP. For example, right now, if you have internet connectivity, so world does not know you from your private IP, the world know you from your public IP. Okay, why? Because when you go out, automatic router change to public IP. So it means wherever you go, if you go to internet, you always be known by the public IP. Okay, so if you go to internet anywhere, you will have always a public IP. This is one point. Now this public IP, if they want to use this private IP to connect, okay, so again your packet will go something like this. Let's say this guy public IP is 8.8.8.8. Okay, this they will create a packet and say my source IP is 8.8.8.8, and I will have to go to destination of computer number A having the IP 172.17.0.2. This is what this system will create a packet. When this packet go to internet, and whenever this packet go and hit to first of the ISP, because without ISP none of the internet will create. Every ISP is one telecom, every telecom has their own network. So all the ISP connect together become the internet. So internet is a group of multiple ISPs or the multiple networks. This become internet. Okay. So when this packet hit to first ISP, ISP say, who are you? They say, I am this IP. They say, okay, you are public IP, you are allowed. But where are you going? They say this IP. But they say this IP is private. And private IP is not routable. So this packet will be discarded here. You won't be able to reach to the A computer. The point is why you want to reach to A computer. Maybe in this A computer or the A container, you have set up the web server or web app. You want your web app of your company is running in the container or maybe the machine. Okay, you want this app to be accessed by anyone in the world. Okay, so whenever you have this requirement that you want your web app to be accessed by anyone in the world, for this we use a one terminology that's called expose. I want to expose my web app. The challenge is, if you want to expose the web app, right now you have a private IP you want to be able to connect to outside world. Means nobody can connect from outside world to you. You can go out because your router might have SNAT enabled. Okay, so or DNetting enable I can say. But no one can come in. Means no one can connect. Means you won't be able to expose. But if you want to expose, means anyone can connect to you from the public world, then what we have to do? Here we have to use a concept again of the router. What I'll do first of all, I will go to my ISP, whichever we are directly connected to my company, and say ISP, can you give me public IP to router, and can you give to the router interface this side, public side or WAN port? wide area network port. So you have to tick one IP address. Okay, this is one thing you have to do. And then what you do, you tell to everyone in the world that if anyone want to connect to a computer or my web app, I am not telling you my private IP because there's no use of it. Even though I will tell you won't able to connect, so I'm not going to tell my private IP address. Instead, I'm telling everyone my IP address for the router, public IP. And I tell everyone in the world, if you want to connect to my web app is running at this IP address. They're not running. This is the router IP. Still, we are saying it. Why? You understand a minute. So I'll tell to everyone, if you want to connect to my web app, come to this IP. This is the IP where you will see your web app is running. Now, in this case, what happened? What happened? If this computer want to go to connect to your web app, they won't generate this packet now. They generate new packet that's more look like this. That my source IP is 8.8.8.8, and I want to go to my destination IP is called 1.2.3.4. And then this packet will start from this guy over the internet, and when they reach to their ISP, this IP say you want to go to this destination. This guy having a public IP say allow. They will send this packet to next ISPs. This IP say, hey, I know this IP is public. You are also public. Okay, so this IP send this packet to this IP. When they reach to your router, I say, router, are you having this IP? They say yes. The router will accept this packet. But in this packet, okay, we write something here that I want to access some website or web app. And where is the write? So guys, in the packet, all the layers, what you know, 7 layers, 3 layers, 5 layers, 4 layers, whatever you know, okay, is part of one packet. In one packet, you see all the layers. So in the application layer, layer 7, it is written what you want to access. So guy who create this packet, in the application layer of this packet, okay, they write, I want to access web server or web app. And most of the web app work in a way called protocol called HTTP, HTTPS. So this packet is working on the application layer 7, this is called HTTP or HTTPS layer. Means you want to access the website. Okay, so they ask to router, and the router that hey, someone will send me to you, and I'm looking for the web server to you. Can you give me the web server? Router say, no, I'm not your web server. You just reach me. I'm more like a gateway to enter inside this box, in this room, in this network. But your main app is running here. Okay, at this IP address. At this IP address. So in the router, what we have to do, we have to create one rule. Okay, initially, as a hard-coded rule maybe. Okay, and what rule we have to create? We'll tell the router, if anyone come to your IP address, okay, and asking they want to access the web app, okay, it means they're not coming for you actually. They're coming for this IP address. Now what you do, when this packet reach to you, in this packet, when they reach to you, okay, your source IP would be same from where it is coming. We won't change this because we have to reply also. But in the destination IP, okay, change your IP address. Transfer your IP address and convert into the IP address of this guy. Okay, change the IP address to this guy. Again, what are you doing? If anyone come for this IP destination, I will changing this to sorry, this IP address. And because we are changing the destination IP, last time yesterday we changed source IP, right? To S-netting. Now we are changing the destination IP. It's called D-netting, destination netting. So D-netting rule we create in the router. So anyone come to this router for the web app, my router will change this first. And now this packet now no longer have the router IP. Now this packet has the IP of new computer. In this case, router will forward this packet to this guy. And when the packet reach to this guy say, hey, you come for me. And I also know from where you're coming. Okay, so they will reply, Again, same thing, router will again change because to maintain the session, reverse session, and then we drove forward the way I explained in my last class. This is how it work. Okay, so it means if you want public guy or public IP want to connect to private IP address, okay, so we have to do denetting rule. You have to create it once, mostly by yourself, called manually. You have to create this rules kind of manually. There's some dynamic way also manually over here. This is called denetting rule that you have to create by yourself. It means if you want anyone can come to your laptop from outside world, okay, then if you for this you can go to your router or your broadband connection at your home. If they support denetting concept, not every broadband support, then you can go and configure this rule. Now, if anyone from outside world internet will, if they come to your router, public IP, internally they route, okay, or they redact to your private IP address. So they connect to your router IP, but internally it's not visible. They will come to you and connect to your system. But in this case, guys, you have to understand one more thing. I want to add one more thing here. Okay, the one more thing is whenever guys one computer connect to other computers, we never use IP address for connections. Again, I'm repeating, we never use IP address for connections. Okay, for example, if I give the Linux world address, port number 5 Linux world Jaipur, this is the address of this building. Okay, in the computer world it's called IP address. When you come to this address, okay, you don't meet to this building. You don't say, hey, building, hey, how are you? It won't work this. You come to this address because maybe let's say you want to meet me. So when you reach to this address, maybe you reach to final computer. This building is a computer. This address is helping you to take you here. After you reach the address, you come to inside this OS, this building, by the network card, means by the outside gate. Then in this building, you meet to someone. Depend which to whom you want to meet. For example, you want to take service from me, want to ask some doubt, for example. Then you meet to me. So I am the final one who is helping you to do something. So for you, I am giving you some service. And service, nothing is a program or process. So technically, from computer A, if they want to come to computer B, they only use IP address so that they can reach to this OS. After this, they go inside and they always connect to some service, program, processes. In your case, service name can be Vimal. You meet me, you give data to me, I reply to you with the data. In the computer world, this service nothing is a kind of program, is a process. Okay, one of the process can be your web app. A web app normally run with the web servers. Web servers. So you always connect to some program, web server, mail server, database servers. You never connect to IP address, never. There's no way. You never connect to operating system. There's no way. You always connect to someone inside this building, inside the OS. This called program and process. Okay, and that is guys for outside world. If anyone want to connect to B computer is one possible, IP is one possible. They connect to some of the program. Okay, maybe one computer have multiple programs. So how they differentiate? So let's say in this building, I am Vimal here. This is Dilip here. Okay, you should know to whom you want to connect. You should name of the process. And the world of computers or networking, this name is known as port numbers. Okay, so if A computer want to connect to B, so A computer should know what is the port number of this program. And mostly guys, if you want to connect to some web server using HTTP protocol, the port number is 80. If you connect via HTTPS way is 443, it change also. If you want to connect via SMTP mail server, it could be 25. You want to connect to SSS to remote login 22, Telnet 23, many more. FTP 2021. Okay, change also you can, but it's a standard port. This means if A computer want to connect to B, this is not the right statement. The right statement is, is that I am A, my source IP is 2, my destination IP is B, is 4 in my case. This information is not enough. In the packet, you also send the port number. After we reach to this 4 IP or this building, port number 5 for example, which program you want to connect, which process you want to connect, what is the port number. So you also may have to maintain the destination port number, it's called D port. It in the packet. Okay, in the packet. Otherwise, it is impossible to connect to any program. Okay, in the packet, you always have the destination port number to whom you want to connect. For example, when you connect to Google via HTTPS, then your browser is a one, is a program, it's called client program. Mostly client program is the one who always initiate. So let's say Chrome browser. So Chrome browser behind the scene create this packet for you. And they write here the Google IP. Inside the packet, they write here the IP port number of the Google. If it is HTTPS, they write 443. So that is if you open any Chrome browser, go to developer console of the browser, you can see that I am going to this IP with the port of 80 or 443. Okay, that's what we can see there. Plus, because they also reply back. So when B reply to A, so that time also, now in this case, B will be source, A is destination. B should know where to send. They always send to program. In this program, your client program may be Chrome, they also have port number. And this port number, guys, is randomly decided. It keep on changing. So every time, guys, when you open any connections with HTTP, Google or Facebook, your client program will see any free port number in your computer. Okay, and let's say they will give 1, 2, 3, 4 as a random port. Right? It's called client port or, or known as source port. Why? Because they have to reply, right? They have to reply. For example, you're sending a courier to me. In the courier, you write to Vimal. Plot number, next word. Plot number 5. Plot number 5 is a Linux word address, IP address. To Vimal is a port number. But there also in the bottom of the courier, you write from, let's say, Abhi. Okay, plot number 6. Why you give this address? So I can give you acknowledgement. Acknowledgement that I receive your courier. I reply back. To Abhi, plot number 6. So plot number 6 would be the client address, IP address, and to Abhi is the client port. You have to reply this guy. Okay, because you want to reply with acknowledgement or you want to reply with some data, depends. You should know the client port. Client port is always random. Every time when you connect someone, they will give some random port, what is available in the computers. And normally, guys, your port number is, for example, IP address is 4 bytes. Okay, in size. The port number also takes some size. There are 2 bytes in size. Means 2 to 16 is the valid values of the port number. It means 0 to 6535. These are the valid port numbers. So in the client computer, any valid port available, okay, they can give to the client. Okay, so client port is both the side. Client port we don't have to worry much. But the desktop port we always should know. Okay, otherwise you won't be connect. But the desktop will reply you back only when they know the client port or the source port. That is the reason in the packet you send everything. Okay, and if you talk about OSI model of the networking, your port number work at the layer 4, transport layer. Transport layer. If you guys know something about UDP TCP, okay, in UDP we give acknowledgement, TCP we give acknowledgement, UDP we does not give the acknowledgement. If you know, work on the layer 4 of the OS. If you know, the port also work with the same layer, port layer number 4. Okay, so what I'm going to give you here, even though you can check also. For example, if I go to Google, when I hit enter, so this is a destination IP. I have a source IP, this is my router IP, public IP. When I go to destination port number is HTTPS, let's go 443. The browser let me add. But my browser also have port number. If browser does not have the port number, Google won't able to reply you. Okay. And just one thing, guys. When you open Google here and here, okay, and here if you write Linux world, and here write Wimble, okay, you always notice, guys, what you write here, you get the output here. What you write here, you get the output here. Okay, how your browser know what output you get here, what output you get here? Both are coming from Google. So this tab has a different port number, and this tab has a different port number. Let's say this is 1234, let's say this is 2222. So when you go to Google, I say Google, my client browser is port number 1234. So when they reply, they know who asked. So they reply to you and say, who reply is 1234. Show me there, show there. So client port is always. So for this we have command also. So when you open your command prompt, there is one command mostly available in all the OS. That's called nested command. Okay. In Linux we have ss command also, better version of nested ss command. And in the nested command, guys, if you run an, okay, here you can see these rules, these rules. Okay, UDP, TCP, these rules. So this something like this. Yeah, this line. What the line means? This line means my source IP is this one. I am going to this destination IP. Let's say this is Google. Let's say I'm going to Google, and Google I'm going to establish a connection. Okay, or which port number? 443. This is called destination port. Who are you? This port is a client port. So that when this IP reply you from this port to the data, they know that to reply this IP address to this port. So data will be visible only there where you ask. Okay. So nested command using we can check at this point how many connections are established. Again, if you run the nested command, it might change because they show you real time. When run one more time, it will tell you. Okay, now at this point in time, how much guys are connected, where they connected, where not connected. So this will change. So when you connect from your computer, any computers or any servers, you will see with the start from your computer where you connected, and other computer someone connected to you. Both the sides they will show you. Nested commands. Same command is there in Windows and Mac also or Linux also. Okay, so this one some concept I explained to you. It means for connection we always need port number. That easy reason, guys, in this example, when outside guys want to connect you, okay, they don't tell only the port number. What they say, I would like to go to this IP to connect my web app. Web app mostly work on HTTP or HTTPS protocol. That means they work on port number 8. Okay, port number 8. So this guy will say, I will go to this IP on port number 80. Or Flask app, if you know, they work on 5000 port. You go to MySQL database, there's 3306 port. Everyone has a different port number, maybe. That's what they say. And but technically, okay, if anyone come to router on the router public IP and say router in your router, I am using want to connect web app services on port number 80. Technically, router does not running with this port number because the web app is not running there. Port will only come up when the program runs. Program will associate with the port number. Okay, if there is no program, there is no services, there is no process, there is no port number. Okay, the program in this case is running where? In a computer. Okay, so in a computer we are running web server or web app, maybe have port number 80. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to create a denetting rule and say if anyone come on this IP address on this port number 80, then we will send this guy to this IP, real IP. Technically, real IP means where my app is running, to the port number 80. But in this case, the real is this one. This is a real computer and this is a real port that you can't change. This is a real IP where the app is running. This is a real port where the app is running. Okay, but in this case, this IP can be anything. Okay, so which IP you give to router, that IP you write. Maybe IP may change in the future. You get more IP. You can take this IP. And because this port number we're just using for mapping. Mapping means if anyone come to this port of 80, send to this IP port 80. So this port number could be anything. You know, compulsory write same port. You can give other port number also, let's say 8080. So in the router, you can give any port number. Only condition is that port number should be free in the router. But in our case, in the world of Docker, the router is running a base system. So you check in the base system which port number is free. If 8080 is not free, then you have to give some other port number. Other port number. So this port number could be anything. But whatever port number you give, in this case, you can tell to everyone in the world, if anyone in the world, if they want to connect to my app, then they have to come to IP address 1.2.3.4. Technically, this is a router IP address because they can only come to public. And router, they have to come to a port number called 8080. Okay, who will tell this? Write this? The public guys. And when the public guys do this, okay, write this information. Okay, this information will reach to router because this is the router IP, and say router, do you running with this port number? They say yes. The router will take this information. For router, we have an inter rule called denetting. Denetting, and in the denetting, we write if anyone come to your IP address, you have to change to IP address of the container of the or the other VM. Plus, you also change the port number also because my container running with 80. You change the port number also. So in the denetting rule, guys, if you change the port number or if you map with the port number, then this concept is called patting, port address translation. So this is a specialized case of denetting. Okay, sometimes we don't use port number because there's some protocol does not have port number. For example, ICMP, where ping work. But mostly in the world of applications like databases, web server, mail server, they have port number. We connect it to the port number. So in the world of port number, we always change the IP also and change the port number also. That is known as patting, port address transfers. Sometimes also known as port mapping, port forwarding. So multiple terms we have, but technical term is called patting. This is how it works. Okay. So guys, do one thing. I just need a 5 minute of pause here, break here. Try to see this diagram. Try to connect this information, connect the dots. Then I'll show you this demo actually with the Docker. How to implement patting or denetting in the world of Docker. Okay, so I just need a 5 minute of break. They'll continue with this. Okay. Launch the instances. Okay, and if you guys ever try to understand is this is where your EC2 instance is running, and they give you instance of private IP address, and you log in from your laptop from your house. That is technically work like you're into the internet. Okay, and there you don't use the IP of your instance, actually private IP. They give public IP, and they show you public IP of instance, but technically this IP is actually the IP of the router. So when you try to do access a remote login to router, but internally you lend it to your VM. If you know AWS Cloud, EC2. So when you log into a public IP of EC2, that is not a public IP of instance, that is IP of the router, internally they given it. And we log into the public IP of router internally have the rule, that's called denetting rule, where they change the IP address and finally lend it to the VM. So we look like we are logging directly to VM, but internally they are doing denetting. So those who by chance know any cloud or AWS cloud EC2 services. Okay, but same concept, guys, we are going to do do in the world of Docker also here. So where we need this concept Docker, that is important. Okay, so right now we have some no container, we have some images with us. Okay, and in last class, guys, we have created one of the image, let's say this one, running with a Flask. Okay, so let me launch this image in the background mode with some name. Let's say my app1 is a container name from this image called v3. Okay, so that's what I'm launching right now. This container has been launched. Okay, it is not working. When you launch a container and you does not see anything, that is mostly means they start and stop. And one of the reasons they start and stop is they might fail. So any program that you're running as an entry point has some challenges. Either code is corrupted, your program is failed, and maybe something else. There could be many reasons. Okay, so what I do, let me use different image, because in last class we do a lot of changes here, so I don't know what change we done that point in time. So that's what we can troubleshoot. Okay, but right now my plan is to, let me use a different image, f v1. Okay, that's also fail. f v1 is fail. Maybe I think in my last class I have given them argument here. Let me give like argument. I don't know. So a lot of things we had done the changes in my last classes. It again failed. So do one thing very quickly. Let me compile and create a new image. Okay. So Docker file, and these are all the changes we have done. So we are running this program from this f1.py file, and what we write f1.py file is some kind of code we write. Actually, this code is database connection, so we don't have data, just what fail. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I am just using app.py old file, old file. That's what I'm using here. And for this, I'll go to my Docker file and say, instead of this file, copy this file. That is working fine. So this is what the code we have done in my last classes. And let me compile my code. Let's go build. Build, let's say with the name called Linux World Web v4 dot. So new container has been, image has been created. Now from this image, let me launch a container. Launch a container, run -dit. Container launch. It should work. It is working fine. Okay. And but behind the scene, guys, this container is run by a Flask, and Flask is giving a lot of its output on the screen. We are running in the background, none output is visible. Any container that's giving the output on the screen, that's called log. Then in the Docker, we can use logs command and give the container name or the ID. And a good thing is if you want to give the ID, you can give some initial characters also. That's also work. It gives a unique characters. So that's also work. So it is the output of the container running and Flask giving the output on the screen that will be visible here. My plan is to get this URL. Okay, and when I use this URL, okay, by click, you can see the site will open. That's what we've seen, right, in the last class. Okay, but challenge here is the IP address, the output gonna come up, right? The IP address that is given to the container is a private IP. Okay, same URL, if you try to give from your Windows, it won't work. So go to my Windows, and from there, if I try 172.70.0.2/5000 with HTTPS keyword here in this case, it won't work. They fail. Why they fail? because of this reason. Let me show you one more time this diagram so there will be no confusion. Okay. So right now, guys, this lab, what you're talking about till now, in our case, in the world of Docker, this lab is nothing your base system actually. So Red Hat version 9 Docker host is the lab. And in this lab, we are running multiple containers. And same lab, guys, is giving you router. Okay, and this router is nothing called, it's called Docker zero interface. Okay, even though this is all not the perfect statement. Okay, your Red Hat 9 is running with some program that work like a router that is there. Maybe if you want, I'll show in somewhere in the future. But this router has two interfaces. One is private and one is public. Private is connected to everyone by somehow. And the name of this interface in the router of the world of Docker is called Docker 0. Docker 0. And the public interface that connects to the outside world, okay, is actually your main interface for Linux. So in the Linux, the main interface, main means format. Okay, if you run the ifconfig command, so this is your base Linux system. The main interface where you have internet connectivity is this one. The base system, guys, can go to internet because of this network card. This network card has further connectivity somehow. So this is the network card having this IP address. Having this IP address. Okay, so you have one more network card, guys, in your base system. It's called ENP0S3. Having the IP in my case is 1.20. Okay, so 192.168.1.20, whatever number would be. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you, the diagram till date, what I try to show you is a real world diagram. But in this world of Docker, your base 9 system, there's a Docker host, where Docker engine running is more like your premises. All the container running is different containers having different IP, belong to same network. They are running with a router program with some kind of SDN concepts. And that router has internally attached to two network card. One is Docker 0, that is connected to the private world. And because this network card belongs to base OS, so that is the base OS can have a connectivity to all the containers. But this card, your OS main network card, that is outside of connectivity, also belongs to router internal. That is a reason these VM can able to go out because of this card. Because this card. And this card, guys, also have a connectivity with your base system called Windows. Okay, right now Red Hat is VM and Windows is running the VM. So for the Red Hat perspective, they feel Windows is a different OS. So there are two OS. Red Hat 9 is different OS, Windows is different. So for the Red Hat 9 perspective, Windows is different OS. But for the container perspectives, anything outside this guy is public. Okay, maybe window IP is not public right now. Like I told you guys, public private IP is just a number. ISP is given this. Okay, but in this case, anything that is inside this box, Docker treat these are the private IPs. Anything outside this, they treat these are the public IPs. It means, what I'm trying to tell you, it means if you're running with any app in the container, let's say my container IP is 172.17.0.2, I'm running the Flask app that is mostly around port number 5000. If anyone from here, let's say Windows, this go public world or internet world, with respect to the containers, they are public outside or internet. Okay, if they want to connect to container, Windows want to connect to container, right now they are not able to connect. But if they want to connect to internet, what they have to do? They can only reach to your Red Hat system. Because as you know, Windows can ping to Red Hat, right? So if you go to Windows, Windows can ping to container? No, we're outside, but Windows can ping to Red Hat interface. that is 1.20 in my case, it's pinging. Okay, so because Windows can reach to IP 120, 1.20, so what I can do, I can tell my Windows do one thing. You can send your packet to this IP because you can reach till here, you have a connectivity. And in this IP, what we do, we get a rule, that's called denetting rule. And what will we write? If anyone come to this IP address on port number, let's say 1234, for example, anything random, okay, then this router managed by Docker, what they do, they will do the translation. They will replace this IP to the container IP where app is running, to the container port, which is the port number your app is running. So this rule we have to create in the router managed by the Docker. So what happened? Now I'll tell to everyone in the world, if anyone want to connect to my container, you can't connect to public private IP directly. So what I'll do, I'll give this information to everyone. Come to this IP, come to this URL. Or when anyone come to this URL, internally we do netting. And we are changing port number also, so we do petting. Port translation. That's what we'll do. Okay, so finally what happened? What happened? If you want Windows can able to connect to container, okay, so we don't write this URL. Instead, we write your IP of your base system, in this case 20, and the port number of the base system. Because you connect to web app mostly you work on HTTP or HTTPS, this is your URL. This is what we type. Okay, but can Windows go to this IP? Yes. But it is not again working because this rule we didn't create yet. This rule we have to create. Where? In the base system Red Hat, means in the Docker, means inside the Docker container. Okay, so guys understand one thing, this topic to reach I take 3 days, but doing this concept is very simple, just one simple option, that's all. To doing this part, it will take only one small option, very simple option to achieve this concept. But for us, it takes almost 2 or 3 days to some hours, I can say 5 or 6 hours to reach this topic. Why I took this? Because if I give the option, your topic would be complete very quickly, but that would be kind of not the right way to teach. Okay, because if you just don't know all those concepts, sometimes somewhere you're stuck. If you want to customize more in your requirement. Okay, that's why I teach you so many things. Okay, but if you want to implement this, is very, very simple. Okay, how we can do so? It's very simple, let me show you. Okay, so for this, the way you launch a container, same command, only thing that you write is option called P. Okay, and because Docker running base system, so they know the IP address of the base system, you don't have to type. Only thing you have to write the port number of the base. In my case, I'm using 1234. Then colon. So Docker is going to launch a container, so they know the container IP. The container IP is keep on changing, so they automatically fetch the container IP. So you don't have to type the container IP here. Only thing that you write is the program port number. Okay, in my case, the port number 5000. So you can write 5000. That's all. Done. This is how we do the denetting or the petting. In this case, this port number you can't type randomly. You can't type randomly. Why? Because this image launch a container app. So what a port number container running? 5000, 80, 81. That's what you're writing. Okay. But if you don't write the right port number here, then finally when you reach to this system, they ask, hey, connect to 5000. 5000 is not there, how to connect? So because you are the one who launching the container, you are the one who is launching the app, then you should know the port number, right? So what a port number your app is running in the container, this is what you have to write here. And this number 1, 2, 3, you can give anything, random. But whatever give this number. This is the port number you have to give to client, public eyes. And say, you come to my router or my OS interface or this port number. So what port number you want to give to your client? That's what you have to write here. But second thing, again this port number, again you can't give randomly. Well, actually we can give randomly. But this port number is given to the router. Router is belong to base OS. So base OS should have this port number free. If base OS is already used this port number somewhere else, it won't work. So how to check this? So go to base system and they have a command called nested-tnlp. Okay, this will tell you that in this system how many port number is being used. So in my case 22 is being used, 61 is used, 613 is used, that's all. 1 2 3 4 is free. So this command will tell you how much port number is free. Sorry, used, remaining is free. And we have one more command more like nested, that is we have more better options, but ss is a common command. So nested ss will work the same way in this case. So they show you the same thing. These port number are free. So used. So base term 1 2 3 4 is free, so I can give. Okay, now when I hit enter, your container will launch. But this time you might see something else, some extra information here. What this line means? This line means if anyone come to a base system, 00 means that 00.01 have multiple meaning depending upon where you write. This 00 means this base system I don't know the IP address. Whichever IP address you come to a base system, on this port number, will send this packet to this container IP address, whatever would be, on this port number. The meaning of this line. Okay, and because I know the IP base system already that has a Windows connectivity, so anyone come to this IP address to this port number, 00 means any IP, means this is one of the IP on this port. Okay, then my router internally will do petting, connect to this container IP address, whatever would be, to this port number. It means now from Windows, last time it was failing, we refresh this page, say fantastic, right? We have our app connectivity from the outside world. And the beautiful thing is, this app is kind of a Windows browser, and the client has no idea this app is running in the VM or real server on the container. But right now they're running in the container. And without knowing the container IP address, even though they have no idea what is container IP address, still they can connect. They only connect using the IP address of base system that is work like a router. With the help of DNetting. This is how this concept work. Okay, but here when I launch this command, this port number will be used by a base system. So if you run the command again, you can see now this port number has been used. And guys, one more concept here. You are connected to 20. 20 is a base system router or base system IP address. And they are going on your behalf to the content and get the data. It is more like a proxy. So this concept also known as a Docker proxy. Yeah, so they launched a proxy program to give this port number. Okay, so they are taking the port number from the base system. Okay, so this is guys code ID. And if obviously if you shut down your container, Docker RM or maybe stop, let me use some initial character. Container stop, program stop, port number stop, everything will stop. So finally, when your client from outside world or anyone out from outside world, if they want to connect, so this container, that container will stop. So base system also been free by this port number. Okay, and obviously outside guys won't able to connect. So when I refresh again, so you can see they are not connected. It is already working in the container. And because I stopped, I can also start again with the start command. With the start command, okay, container again start, same mapping, port mapping done automatically. Again, outside guys can able to connect. Okay, working fantastic, fine. But if you see here, even though this is a very common and basic command, guys, what I use here, but in this command, there's something called manual. Manual. What manual is? If you don't know the port number of your application running in this image, you won't able to write this line. But point is, the image is created by V, and this image is used by someone else. And someone else might not know the port number what you use inside the application. 8080, 8081, 5000, I don't know. Okay. Second thing is this: the port number that you use here is anything, but it should be free. So someone first have to check that this port is free or not. If not, they have to change again. So this line is more like a manual way. Not everyone can comfortable with this step. And right now, guys, we are running the Docker ourselves manually, Docker run command. But typically, guys, Docker is managed by one of the very important tool in the world. It's called Kubernetes. Actually, this content launched by Kubernetes actually. Okay, and Kubernetes does not know what is the port number of your app. Okay, what is the free port number as such. So technically, when the Docker used by some other tools or automated way, this part I think manually it does not make sense. I want this to be automated. Means when I launch a container, the automatic come to know what is your port number. The automatic will come to know what is a free port. And the automatic map it. If you want to do this, this is what we have to do. Right now, because you're running Docker manually, it will work. But mostly when this image is not run by Docker actually in the real world, mostly we run via Kubernetes. In the Kubernetes, this concept won't work. It should be automated. So for this, what we have to do? For this, while creating the Docker file, okay, because you know your application is going to run on port number 5000. So in this file, we have to write one keyword called expose keyword. And tell anyone want to expose my port. What are we doing? Exposing, right? To the public world. Then the port number exposed to be 5000. Okay, and what I've noticed, guys, right now, if you don't write this, thing will work. It is working, right? But this image we are using Docker, but this image mostly we use in the world of Kubernetes. And what I found, guys, they create an image, but they try to run the Kubernetes, the image is not working. One of the biggest reasons is this one. That does not write this keyword. Okay, expose. Okay, expose is one of the keyword of the Docker file. So which port number your application running is HTTP, web server, 80 port, 443, mail server 25, in our case, Flash 5000, 5001. You write this. And then let me again compile this file. Compile this file, let me give the version v5. And because you know, whatever information you guys write, it always store in the image history. You can see in the image history, this information will be stored. Stored. Now, in this case now, whenever you launch a container, if you know the concept of P, all the stuff, let me use with different port number. It works, no challenge. It's working on port number 1235. Now any client want to connect, they can use port number 12345. They can connect. But let's say if it does not know this concept, you does know what a port number inside this image to use, what is a free port in Docker, or maybe this image used by some other tool like Kubernetes, OpenShift, if you know, there everything should be automated. We can't use this way, manual, hard-coded way. Okay, then if you use expose, it will work there. To check this, there's one more way to check. I can also launch a container with this option, guys. Hyphen P cable. You know what this line means? This P means if you don't write this, means container will run without any expose. The only private IP, you can't connect from outside world. But if you want to expose, then you can use small p, where they will write hard-coded values, but you can use capital P. What does the capital P do? They go inside this image, go and find the expose keyword, and ask, can you tell me inside this image, the application work on which port number? They say 5000. Then they go to base system and say which port are free. And what port are free? They take one of the random number, okay, and they map it. P is capital. That's why the P was small. And you see, guys, automatically 5 seconds ago, that mapping has been done. Mapping has been done here. So it is not showing you here. But this guys option will work in most of the version. Maybe in this version they might not working. Okay, I'm just showing you as a demonstration. But if you use this image in the other world, Kubernetes will work there. Okay, it is not showing here by chance. By chance. But some of the version of Docker, when you try this option, it will work. With this option, maybe normally they show you here. But this way, I just want to prove you. Okay, this is what the meaning. Let me see the help also. Option is -p, that's for sure. But this version, maybe P option is available, but may, they are not doing. Here, expose port number to random ports. Okay, random port. In this example or in this version, maybe this option is not working. That's a different part, but the concept is here. Concept is here. But if you use this image, if you use this image, okay, this image, maybe you can check also one more time. Netset command if they show you. Docker proxy, no, they're not working in this version. Maybe that's okay. Okay, but if you use this image in the world of Kubernetes, it will work fine. They have a capability to work properly. Okay, so this guys is called netting and petting. Okay, but I told you in my last class, not in, I think this class only. Okay, whatever you do, guys, S netting or D netting, behind the scene, behind the scene, everything done at the base system with IP tables command. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, let me first clean everything. Docker PS, let me say Docker RMF backcode, Docker PS A and Q. Let me delete everything to clean everything. Okay, and I have no container running. Let me launch one container with the typical way. This one. As soon as I do this, they do petting. That's called denetting. But Docker does not know how to do netting. They use a Linux internal keyword command for IP tables. So if you run the IP tables command, have a T netting table with list option. Okay, what you find here, you'll find this rule. It was not there. What this rule means? Rule means if anyone, actually this rule I can say. What the rule means? If anyone come to your base system IP address on this port, will send this guy to this IP and this port number. You know what is this IP? This is the IP of the this container. So when you see the IP of this container, you'll find this. Okay, that's why I explained to you, right? Anyone come to base system IP address to this port, it will map to this IP, there's a container port, to container IP to this port. So what guys Docker is doing, internally they use IP tables netting concepts for denetting. Okay, so that is what guys I would like to show you here. Expose keyword is very important. In this version, maybe with P option is not working. You can try with different version of Docker. They work with P capital. Okay, but this expose keyword is very important when you want to deploy this image in the world of Kubernetes. Okay, then if you don't show, they will fail or might not work. That's what I would like to tell you. Okay, so guys, this is a some concept to know. And right now, guys, in all those concepts, if you want to implement, if you want to implement netting or denetting, okay, it works if you use bridge concepts. Right now, I'm launching everything in a network called bridge driver. Bridge is the one who support S netting and D netting. public to private, private to public. This is what they support. Bridge program is a driver of network. Okay, if it is null, they does not know everything about the network. Okay, but if you does not want to do S netting and D netting, okay, S netting, and without this you want to expose your content to the outside world. Okay, so what I mean by this? What I mean by this? Okay, because you guys know, whenever you launch a container, they launch a container. So whenever you launch app launch inside the container. Container has their own private IP address. App has their own port number, let's say 5000 or 80 or something. Okay, this port number is a port number of the app running inside the container. Okay, and that is a reason, guys, if you want someone from outside world want to connect to your container port number app, it won't work because this port number is real, app is real, but this IP is private. You want to be able to connect. Okay, and here this IP is come from a network that's called bridge network. And the word of bridge, they give you one bridge here. This is called router. Okay, and router will say whatever you have this side is a public, whatever you have this side is private. And when public to private come up, then you have to do denetting or porting or petting. Petting. That's what you write here. Okay, but if you have a requirement, if you want to launch a container, you want to run the app in the container, but inside the app you does not want to use any container IP addresses. Okay, app will run the container, port number will be there from the app, but inside container I does not want to deal with my private IP addresses. Don't want to use any private IP addresses. So what we can do, we can launch a container. We can launch a container, let's say container 1. App will run inside the container. But this port number, guys, is directly associated with your host computers. It means base computer. And benefit of this is your base computer have a network card called ENP0S3 that has IP address that has outside connectivity. Means I want to remove my router, my bridges, netting, S netting, petting, everything I want to remove. Okay, the way your Windows, your base outside world connect to your VMs. For example, if you ever work on Red Hat VM, if you launch any services here, web server, you can directly connect. There's no challenge of SNAT detail. They have direct connectivity if you ever done. Okay, same kind of feeling I want to achieve here. Okay, there's no concept of petting or other things also, deleting. So for this, what we can do, we have a driver called host driver. Host driver. So let me show the demo. By looking at demo, you can understand very quickly. Let me delete everything here. Okay. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to launch my container one more time, and I'm not using this concept, guys. This was estimating denetting. I'm not using this concept. This concept here. Okay. And if you launch this container, you know, when you launch the container, they always launch in the bridge network. But here I say no, I want to use a different network that support host driver. A name on network is by chance host here, it could be different name also if you create by yourself. I want this container. Let me give the name also container also. Let's say name is called app1. I want this image launcher under app1, run in the background. But this container would be put inside the network or area called host. That work on host driver. So right now, if you go and check Docker network, inspect host. Okay, host we have no container running. But if you say there is no concept called option called masquerading also. Neither netting, neither padding. There is no concept. They're using that host driver. Okay. If you also notice, guys, in IPM there is no DHCP also. Because your container does not need IP address. Container will launch, app will launch, but container will use the IP of your base system. Entire network setting is used by of the base system. They use the base system IP address, they use the base system port number, everything they use from base system. Only container will launch, app will launch in the container. But network part will come from the base system. Okay, and the base system good thing is base system has a direct connectivity to outside world. So when I hit enter, you get the container launch, container launch. Okay, and what you notice, guys, here, this container launch here, right, A1, and container has no IP address. It's more like a none network, right? But difference here is, okay, in none network there is no connectivity to anyone. But in the host, this container is going to use the network card IP address of the base. Base. That was the use of this driver. Okay, and even though if you go to container also, ask the container inspect command, do you have the IP address? So they have no IP addresses. But they belong to the host network. If I run the nested command to check the port number, net state, port number. So you can see, guys, here, see this 5000, right? You know how it look like? It look like this container is running a program, but this program is directly associated with base system. Because this program we launched from Python, right? So it look like Python program is directly running a base system with this port number. Technically running inside the container. But this command I'm running in the base system. The base system field, Python program is directly running in the base system, and the base system has been associated with this port number. And from where this port number come up? Again, here the review of expose keyword coming. From image, they want to pick the port number from there and associated. And because I'm running this port number in the base system, it means anyone from outside the world, if they know the IP of base system has the connectivity, and if they use the port number of base system, they can see it, they connect, right? They have a connectivity. One minute. Let me new terminal here. They have a connectivity. Okay, this connectivity, guys, is not happening by chance. So it's not because of the Docker. I think this could be different reason. One of the reason, guys, is mostly Linux come with the firewall. Anyone from outside world try to come to base system to other port number, they won't allow. Something this could be one of this could be I might guess. So for this again we have ipw command. ipw, can you show me the firewall list? So there are a lot of firewall list we have, guys, that might be blocking. This could be one of the reason, I believe. I believe. Let me just try to remove the firewall. Remove the firewall. Okay. Now all the setup has been clean. This could be one of the reason. It's not. I don't know. SC Linux might not be the challenge, but let me check it still. SC Linux might not be actually challenge. There could be some other challenge of the network connectivity. But you can see here the container is running. Let me go inside the container, execute ITA1 bash. In the container, we have no IP address. Okay, the command is not there, but you can install. But again, there is no IP address show you from outside also. But my program is running in the container. That is working fine. And this program has no port. You can see any netting here, netting padding here, and and plus you can't You can see with the rest of the command base system, this port has been associated. So working is fine. So for Docker host perspective, everything is working fine, but I don't know why they're not connecting. Even though we can try one more way. Okay, I'm connecting to base system IP address. The base system IP address on port number. It is also not working. Okay, it is not because guys of this issue. This is because my Flask app. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's working. But if it's not working, guys, then this should be of the Flask app. This challenge in the Flask app, you might not write this keyword. I write all this. So it's working, guys. Maybe from Windows to Linux, you have to check some 5 other issues also. But it's working. This could be one, maybe one of the reason. Maybe his name, maybe. So that's okay. But they have tested already. Understand, guys. This IP is always your base system IP, right? I'm not connecting to my Docker, but from a base system, I can able to connect. It's working. But if you try to do this with initially, it won't work. Okay, if you only launch a content, it won't work, but it's working. So my base system has associated the port number that is working. Windows to Linux, we have to check some other 5 other issues also. I don't know to further rectify, or you can test this further. Okay, so this also, guys, the meaning of the host. So like this, guys, in the world of Docker or container, there's a lot of different types of drivers. Bridge is mostly that's what we always use for netting, S netting, D netting, null for isolation world. Host rarely we use, sometime very rarely we use. Sometimes you want to launch a container, run the app there, but you want to directly associate the port number to the host computer IP address. Then what we use host. And why we rarely use? Because why we use container to isolate everything. The main use of container is what? Container give you capability on the top of Red Hat. I can launch a container. They have own RAM, own CPU, own network, own app. Okay, so it is very rare that I will launch a container that will take some part of a base system. Okay, because it's not scalable. If you launch one more container, okay, it will fail. It will fail. Okay, why it will fail? It's not running right? Because this container launch a app in the container use the port number 5000, and 5000 take there from base system, based on 5000 already used. One port we can give to only one program, only one program. So if you want to launch one more, many more, it won't work right. Okay, but sometimes you have only requirement that you want to launch a container and you want to map to base system directly. And maybe this sometimes we have a requirement per OS one container. Okay, mostly in one OS we launch multiple containers. But when I have a requirement, one VM, one OS, one container. Okay, there also we can use this one. So we have rare this requirement come up, but whenever this come up, sometimes we come up. We want one VM, one Docker engine, one container, due to a lot of security reasons and a lot of performance reasons, because everything is shared to all the container. If we have, then we can use this. Otherwise, we have rare requirement. Mostly we use a network called Bridge, and other network driver we use called overlay. Okay, so what is overlay? In upcoming class, I will discuss about the overlay. Okay, especially in the world of Docker, we don't use overlay much, but when you use Docker in the world of clusters like Kubernetes, then without overlay thing would work. In the simple term, what is overlay? If you have one VM running with Docker engine with some containers, with one more VM running with the Docker engine with more containers, if the container from one computer want to connect to other computers, okay, then without overlay it won't work. It won't work. It is more like this: you're sitting in your house in a private world. I'm sitting in my house in a private world. and between you and me we have internet. If one private world want to connect the other private world over the internet, so guys, you might know you use a VPNs. Okay. But here in the system of VPN, we use overlay. Okay, it is not the same, but it's very high level. As I'm just trying to tell you, that is what the concept for. Okay, so okay, this is about the network, and by if you notice, guys, here because of this concept, I also explained one more keyword expose. So as more concept gonna come up, more keyword we have, you will understand. But I don't want to explain the keyword just for sake of explaining. Right use case come up, then I explain the keyword. That makes more sense. Okay, so I would like to conclude the class for the day. Practice these concepts. Okay, and whenever you have a requirement to launch a container to the outside world, this go expose, then we can use netting. Okay, and right now we have some network pre-created, but we have a way you can also create your own custom networks, maybe of the same drivers, different name and different settings. How to create also, that also we'll see in the upcoming class, the custom networks. Okay, that's it from my side. Anyone any queries offline online, you guys can ask. इसको कैसे देखेंगे? Zoom कहाँ चल रहा है? Anyone any query offline online? So why we can get Docker own network? We'll because right now we are using a network that has IP range 172. I want to different IP range, different settings, different gateway information. Okay, so that's what. Port mapping is nothing. The padding that I explained is more like port mapping. Okay. Host adapter nothing. The main network card, Archit, of your computer is called host adapter. Means your network card, NIC card is also known as host adapter. And bridge adapter is nothing. Bridge adapter is actually name is adapter, but technically it is a program that work like a router, netting and static and read. Okay. There's some issue with the latest MySQL image. Which image, Pratik, you're talking about? Okay. Yeah, if you want to use other version also, you can use that's right. Because if you want to connect database with a front end, a backend, so backend to backend version, your database version might conflict and support. So you can try the other version if this case. But if you follow along my example demo, I was using the MySQL latest versions. But you can go for some other image and old versions also. Host hour I explained to you the ones already. So if you want to associate your network setting directly without using container network, neither IP address, neither port number of the container, neither routing table of the container, if you want to use everything of the host system directly in the container, then you use host adapter, host driver. How to use full screen mode in rel VM? So if you click on rel VM, okay, so go to device, view, full screen. That's all. Okay, but this full scale is, guys, based upon the how scale it is. So there's a lot of software available for VirtualBox. You go virtual extension you can install, they will come properly, or you can create a scale mode. So for scale mode, you can use Control C, not left Control C, or right Control C of the keyboard. Then they go to this mode. If a driver of VirtualBox is not installed. Okay. Sorry. Overlay. हम पढ़ेंगे next class में डिटेल में आने वाला. We will discuss overlay. Yes, please. Right. बिल्कुल 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 नहीं कर सकते. Yes, everything belong. For example, if I give my Wi-Fi access of you here, and everyone using my public IP. If any one of you guys try attack DOS attack, then your IP won't be blocked because they does not know your IP address. What they block my outright. So technically everyone will be blocked. Yeah, okay. Every public IP is visible. So they block the public IP given by the ISP either to your router or maybe your common network. Again, can you repeat your question again? Right. हाँ, एक ही कर सकते हैं, दूसरे का आपको दूसरा पोर्ट नंबर देना पड़ेगा। ये दूसरे के लिए आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, उसके लिए कौन सा बोर्ड आता है? आपका क्वेश्चन वैलिड है। इस अगर आप चाहते हो एक ही पोर्ट नंबर दोनों यूज करें, एक ही आईपी यूज करें, वो भी राउटर का, पर दोनों अलग साइड ओपन कर पाए, तो वहां कौन सा था? वर्चुअल होस्टिंग। वर्चुअल होस्टिंग, then the web server there is a concept called virtual hosting, where single server, okay, can host multiple sites with single IP and single port number. Okay, वो IP पोर्ट नंबर सेम सिस्टम को तो राउटर एक ही बात। और वर्चुअल होस्टिंग में हम लोग यूज करते हैं डीएनएस का। डीएनएस नेम, डोमेन नेम। सेम कॉन्सेप्ट आपके यूज करती कंपनी जो वेब होस्टिंग कंपनी होती है। वेब होस्टिंग आपको सस्ता क्यों देती है? ओके, क्योंकि एक आईपी के ऊपर मल्टीपल साइट चलाती है। सब डोमेन नहीं, मेन डोमेन्स। My domain is vimal.com, your domain is hello.com, his domain is yahoo.com, फॉर एग्जाम्पल। और सारे डोमेन चल रहे एक ही आईपी पे। ओके, तो आप कोई भी नाम से आओगे, ओके आओगे, मतलब आप आईपी आओगे तो किसी एक से कनेक्ट करेगा, इसलिए हम रजिस्टर करें आपको नाम से आना है। ओके, तो होता क्या है, एचटीटीपी एक ऐसा प्रोटोकॉल है जिसके एप्लीकेशन लेयर में आपका नाम भी आता है। आईपी तो आता ही है आईपी लेयर में, लेयर 3 में, लेयर 7 के अंदर आपका नाम भी आता है, जो होस्ट है। और जब नाम सर्वर तक पहुंचता है, वो देखता है अच्छा आईपी है ये, हाँ, नाम क्या है yahoo.com, तो रिडायरेक्ट कर देता है yahoo.com फोल्डर पे या उस साइड कंटेंट। ओके, तो इसलिए ये कौन सा वर्चुअल होस्टिंग जितनी कंपनी है, वेब होस्टिंग कंपनी वो यूज करती है। इसलिए पूछते हैं आपको कि शेयरेबल लेना है आपको या डेडिकेट लेना है। ओके, शेयरेबल का मतलब में बहुत सारी बातें आती है, पर वन ऑफ द बात ये भी आती है कि एक आईपी के ऊपर मल्टीपल साइट चलेगी। डिफरेंस कैसे करेंगे? आपके डोमेन नेम से या होस्ट नेम से। तो इस पूरे कॉन्सेप्ट का नाम है वर्चुअल होस्टिंग। आप पढ़ोगे तो आपको मिलेगा ये सब चीज। ओके, एनीवन एल्स? ओके, yeah, actually that's explained to you, I believe. How we have a public IP, whichever the telecom you connected to, you can ask them, they will mostly give you, they will not tell you कि आपको static IP चाहिए, so they mostly charge, या आप लीज पे ले सकते हो, या वो जो टेलीकॉम प्रोवाइडर है वो देते हैं आपको पब्लिक आईपी, अदरवाइज यू गो टू क्लाउड, they always give public IP. Launch the VM the cloud, they give public IP there. Okay, like in AWS they give EIP, public IP. Okay, so that's all guys from my side. See you in the next class. Anyone who is the part of my 7 days program, tomorrow also we have a class, but I told you already, this is scripting class, it will be online. Okay, so that's it. I think kuch hai bhi quiz hai. So for 7 days guys, we have a quiz here. There will be last part of the day of this program also, 7 days, and that's all. Otherwise, anyone who is part of my Docker other trainings will continue in my next week, the same topics, continuity. But that's all guys. See you. Bye. Take care. Good day. The 7 days guys have to stay. We have some quiz. We also, I think, I don't know if the shortlist name has been announced or not. Okay, so let me ask to